Carl, thank you. There is a real sense of urgency filtering through the air here in the Bronx tonight, worn primarily on the sleeves of the visitors, the Boston Red Sox. They are in need of wins, and they did get one last night, although it didn't come easy. Bobby Valentine's team had an early lead, but backstormed the Yankees. Mark Teixeira ties it with a home run in the 8th inning that made it 6-6. But then Pedro Siriaco in the top of the 9th inning at a ball that caused Curtis Granderson to twist and turn, scored a triple, a 2-run inning, an 8-6 win for the Red Sox to even up the series in a win apiece, and a very crucial win right now for the Red Sox. Maybe a small step in the right direction for a team that must continue to win, as you can see, if they are to get back or at least remain on the fringes of the playoff picture in the American League. Hi, everybody. Dan Schulman along with Terry Francona and Oral Hershiser. Let's start with the Red Sox. It has not been an easy season for the Boston Red Sox. A lot of transition and change, of course, from 2011. Bobby Valentine hired as the manager of the Red Sox on the 1st of December. One of the issues for Boston, they've had more players on the DL than any other team in baseball. 22 different players have been on the DL for the Red Sox this year. And maybe most importantly, they're just 14-24 in games started by their top two starters, John Lester and Josh Beckett. And it's almost August, and they're under 500, and it's getting late.
You know, you hate to say there's a must-win, but tonight's a big swing night. I mean, they got to start winning series. They got to get back to 500, and then they have to make up some ground because they have teams they got to leap over, and that's just for the wild card. So there has to be some urgency there.
I don't think you could say right now that the New York Yankees are experiencing urgency. They're experiencing a lot of good things right now. The best record in the American League and a comfortable lead in the East Division. But they've had some adversity, some injuries. Mariano Rivera, Brett Gardner, among others, with lengthy injuries. But what do? The Bronx Bombers are bashing the baseball this year. More home runs than any other team in baseball, and the best record of any team in the American League at 60-40. One of the nicest things that's happened to this team, though, this year, quietly, under the radar, in a very professional sense, the work of the newcomer this year, Hiroki Kuroda.
Yeah, the Bombers, they do bomb, but they need somebody that's exceptional behind CC Sabathia in the rotation. Hiroki Kuroda has started to do that. In his last 10 or 11 starts, he has been absolutely fantastic. You see the 7-1, and that has come from the precision in his workouts and the comfort in Yankee pinstripes. He's now pounding the strike zone with his fastball down at the knees, and he's got a fantastic split finger that is really on.
7-1 in his last 11 starts with a very good ERA. For more, let's go down to field level now with Buster Olney.
And, of course, Dan, the newest Yankee, Ichiro Suzuki, who's 38 years old. And over the last 3 years, his OPS, combined on-base percentage and slugging percentage, has dropped about 200 points. But when I reached out to rival general managers about Ichiro this week, they love this deal for the Yankees because of all the other things he does well. Playing great defense in the outfield, and eventually he'll be their left fielder. His strong throwing arm, slowing down opposing runners, and his great efficiency himself running the bases. Now, earlier today, I asked Ichiro about what it's been like for him, the intensity playing in Yankee Stadium for the first time, and he said to me, I'm getting a chance to experience something for the first time. Dan, back to you.
Buster, thank you very much. On the mound tonight for the Yankees, as mentioned, a veteran right-hander, Hiroki Kuroda. It's the Yankees and the Red Sox in one of the best rivalries in baseball. Over the years, of course, there has been no love lost between these two teams. It has simmered here in this series. The Red Sox and the Yankees are coming up.
It's not from the payroll or the short porch. Not even from the pinstripes. Not from 3, 4, 5, 7, or 8. The mystique comes from winning. From the 27 championships. And every October, the chance for number 28.
And that's what it's always about year after year here in the Bronx. Winning another championship. They're looking for their 28th franchise World Series victory here this season in 2012. And they are playing well right now. 60-40, the best record in the American League right now. The Yankees hosting the Boston Red Sox here tonight to wrap up this 3-game series. You can join our companion broadcast at ESPN.com's Gamecast for advanced statistics and interact with the guy who's going to be very busy tonight, Buster Olney, on Twitter at Buster_ESPN, also hashtag SNB. Trade deadline just a couple of days away. You know, Buster is going to be busy tonight. You can also like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/ESPN Baseball tonight. Bobby Valentine, the first-year manager of the Boston Red Sox, a game under 500. As you can see, the first time they've been under 500 this deep into the season since 1997 as they deal with some injuries and other issues as well. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Red Sox right now, presented by Taco Bell. And as Tito mentioned, they're still scoring a lot of runs. They're right up there at almost 5 runs per game, one of the best in baseball. Dustin Pedroia off the DL, thumb feeling better. He's healthy. He's hitting. Adrian Gonzalez, he's hitting against the Yankees, and also overall Gonzalez hitting over 380 over the last month, and a guy who's given them a nice boost, especially against the Yankees this year. Pedro Siriaco playing shortstop tonight, 10 hits and 18 at-bats against the Yankees this season. A real pro, again, an understated guy, low maintenance, like our own Oral Hershiser.
Hiroki Kuroda for the Yankees. Precise aggressiveness. He loves to attack the strike zone at the knees and set up his outstanding split finger.
Some clouds overhead, nothing too serious. A lot of rain earlier, about 4:30, 5 o'clock local time, but it didn't last that long, and it's turned into a nice night for a ball game here in the Bronx. Jacoby Ellsbury will lead it off for the Red Sox. Our home plate umpire tonight is Brian O'Nora, and we are ready for baseball. Ellsbury just back off injury. He and Carl Crawford both returning to the Red Sox recently. And Bobby Valentine saying he thinks Ellsbury's getting close to being 100% in what he was last year. Fly ball to left field. Andrew Jones, one down. Always relaxed out there. Andrew Jones is in left. Ichiro is in right. He'll eventually go to left, but Nick Swisher's DHing tonight, so Ichiro gets another start in right field. A 10-time Gold Glover. Jason Nix is at third base. Alex Rodriguez on the DL with a broken bone in his hand, out 6 to 8 weeks, and Russell Martin will do the catching. Here's Carl Crawford. First pitch swinging. Roller to third, and quickly 2 down for Kuroda. What a big key it would be for the Red Sox, as good as their offense has been for the most part, Terry, just to get Ellsbury and Crawford approximating what they're capable of doing.
And just by having both of them back, you take a lineup that is down near the bottom in stolen bases, and you immediately put them in the top 2 or 3 in the league in stolen base potential.
A quick 2 outs. Ellsbury retired on a fly ball. Crawford on a ground ball. And here's Dustin Pedroia. And a strike taken by Pedroia, hitting .271 on the season. Has battled 2 different thumb injuries at various points during the season. Still a very, very tough out, and really starting to swing the bat better lately. Ranging to his left, Jeter, scooped by Teixeira, and the inning is over. Terrific defense on the infield by the Yankees, as Kuroda needs only 5 pitches to retire the Red Sox in order here in the top of the first. Jeter, the spin, Teixeira, the scoop, and the Red Sox go in order. By Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Mas. And in part by Ford Service. Want to make your car more fuel efficient? See what the works can do for you. And Blue Moon Brewing Company, brewer of artfully crafted beers. The extensive Yankee Museum here in the Bronx. As the Yankees come up in the bottom of the first, the Red Sox going in order in their half of the inning, and let's take a look at the starting lineup that Joe Girardi's got tonight, presented by Taco Bell. Mark Teixeira having a big month. As always, started slowly, as always, has heated up, and as always, will wind up with some very good numbers by the time the season is all said and done. And the newcomer to the Yankees, Ichiro, generally hitting down in the lineup, eventually will play a lot of left field. He's batting eighth and playing right field tonight. 10-time All-Star, 10-time Gold Glove Award winner. A guy who has faced the Yankees twice this year and has done well against them twice this year. 24-year-old left-hander Felix Doubront.
And Felix Doubront, as a 24-year-old, thrown into the cauldron of the Red Sox nation, he has done very, very well. Still learning on the job. It has an exceptional curveball and a very good changeup, but he lives, his bread and butter is his two-seamer low and away to righties.
Bobby Valentine said from the first session he had in spring training, he looked sharp. Bobby felt he was a real competitor, and he's a guy that Bobby Valentine has been very high on from the moment the season began. 10-5 on the season. Derek Jeter will lead it off for the Yankees, hitting .308 on the season, and second in the American League with 128 base hits. Just foul down the right field line.
Well, both teams are coming out like it's getaway day. They're not messing around.
Yep. Kuroda threw only 5 pitches to get 3 outs at the top of the first. Jeter going after the first pitch that he sees. Has not been driving in runs lately, just 4 in his last 31 games, but hitting for an average and hitting extremely well against lefties this year. 0-2. After Jeter, it'll be Curtis Granderson and then Mark Teixeira. The Yankees are 60-40, and they have an 8-game lead on both the Orioles and the Rays atop the American League East. Best record in the AL and the biggest lead in all of baseball. And it is strike 3 called to get him.
96 miles an hour, low and away, attacking the strike zone. Earlier in the year, as the 24-year-old starter, Bobby Valentine relayed the fact to us is once he got ahead of hitters early in the year, he was having trouble finishing them off. There, not nibbling at all, going right after Jeter with a quality pitch on the outside corner.
And here's Granderson. First pitch, swing and a miss. The infielder's not a full shift, but playing him to pull. You can see in on the grass at third is the rookie Will Middlebrooks, shading him up the middle to shortstop Siriaco. Boy, 5 pitches and 5 strikes so far delivered by Dubron. Granderson hitting for power, 28 home runs, but the average just a .251 and striking out a lot, 120 strikeouts on the season. Down low. 8 of the home runs this year for Granderson against lefties. 16 of his home runs last year against lefties. There's the curveball, misses down and away.
I think it's safe to say Curtis Granderson isn't the prototypical number 2 hitter.
And you can see he is right up there with some of the game's great power hitters over the last year and 4 months. Dubron shaking off his catcher Saltalamacchia a couple of times. Wanted the fastball, popped up, kind of a tricky sky right now, and the ball will wind up back in the seats. But with the time of night it is and the cloud cover overhead, Saltalamacchia was among those who really had trouble finding that baseball.
I'm going to tell you something. As bad as you want to get outs, I think Jared Saltalamacchia was the happiest guy in the world. That ball got into the stands.
Yep.
That had disaster written all over it.
So the at-bat will continue. Still 2-2 on Granderson. No score here in the bottom of the first. And a swing and a miss. 2 down. That'll bring up Mark Teixeira, who last night at the bottom of the 8th inning against his nemesis Vicente Padilla hit a 2-run home run into the seats to the right to tie the game. And Teixeira, as you can see, admired that home run for a while. There is no love lost, to say the least, between Teixeira and Padilla, who have been teammates. Were teammates a few years ago. Teixeira contending that Padilla, when they were teammates, got Teixeira hit because Padilla was headhunting players on other teams, and the other teams would respond by hitting Teixeira. And then Teixeira's been hit 3 times by Padilla over the last few years. A fly ball to right field. Teixeira flies out. Dubron gets the Yankees in order in the bottom of the first. Baseball on ESPN. Dan Schulman, Terry Francona, Oral Hershiser, Buster Olney. Adrian Gonzalez leading off the inning for the Red Sox. No score against Hiroki Kuroda, who retired the Red Sox on 5 pitches in the top of the first. Ellsbury on a fly ball. Crawford and Pedroia on ground balls. 10-7 on the season. A nice tidy ERA of 3.34 entering the game. Facing a very hot hitter in Gonzalez, who has started to hit for power, hitting for average recently as well. 381 over his last 29 games, closing in on 300 on the season. In there at the belt for a strike, 1-1, as Gonzalez has a little conversation with Brian O'Nora, saying, is that about as high as the strike zone's going to go tonight? I just need to know.
Exactly. He was just, that was borderline high, and he wanted to know. And when you're hot and seeing the ball so well.
Ground ball to the left side through the vacated shortstop area, with Jeter playing Gonzalez up the middle. And when you're hot, you're hot.
And he has that little leg kick just for timing, and he's got to get his foot down in a hurry. And again, this is a ground ball to shortstop. But like Dan, you said, when you're hot, you're hot. There's nothing wrong with that pitch. It was an effective pitch. He hit a ground ball, and he beat the shift.
So the leadoff man aboard for the Red Sox here in the second against Kuroda. Cody Ross is the batter. He is the DH tonight. David Ortiz is still on the DL with that Achilles injury. They're hoping to get him back as soon as he's eligible, which would be Wednesday in the middle of a series against the Tigers. Ross can do some damage. He's got 16 home runs on the season, despite missing a month with a broken bone in his foot.
Bobby Valentine has done a great job toggling all the different pieces together this year with all the injuries they've had, the lack of production from a few people, juggling that lineup consistently, and really is looking forward to this next week or so when maybe he will get the predicted opening day lineup for the first time this whole year.
0-2 on Ross.
Crawford has been out. Pedroia's been out. Ellsbury's been out.
But they've still managed to throw up 4.9 runs a game, which is identical to the Yankees, which is really impressive because you're right. They have missed so many of their pieces for the majority of the year.
The biggest difference between the two teams, the quality of the starting pitching. The Red Sox are third from the bottom in the American League in starters ERA. And as we talked about a little bit earlier, Beckett, Lester, their top two guys, they're 10 games under 500 as a team when those two start. They're 14 and 24 in those games. Even if they're 500 at 19 and 19 in those games, they're leading the wild card race.
Even if the two individuals, Beckett and Lester, were 500 individually, they would only be 3.5 games behind the Yankees, and they'd be a game and a half up in the wild card. And you're talking about a 28-year-old and a 32-year-old that should be in their prime.
Ross couldn't check the swing. One down as Kuroda picks up his first strikeout of the night. Hiroki Kuroda, again, he goes about his business so quiet. Nobody ever talks about him. But he's a very, very important part of this Yankee rotation right now.
Yeah. CC Sabathia is the main cog. He will start the playoffs for them when they get there this year. And after that, will it be Andy Pettit? Will it be Nova? Or will it be Kuroda? They are looking for that second and third dominant piece in their rotation.
Sabathia, the undisputed ace of this team, although he was hit last night and has not pitched as well as he normally does lately, but still he's the obvious guy to start a playoff series for the Yankees. Kuroda, 37 years of age, first year with the Yankees after spending 4 years with the Dodgers. Prior to that, pitched for 11 years professionally in Japan. Probably liking all the run support he's getting this year. Never got a whole lot of that with the Dodgers. He put up good numbers, but would be a 500 pitcher. Jared Saltalamacchia, the batter for the Red Sox. And one of the reasons why Boston has scored a lot of runs in spite of all their injuries, Saltalamacchia leads all major league catchers with 20 home runs.
And he's got 19 of them versus right-hand pitching. So he's on the right side of the plate.
Takes outside, 3-0.
Kuroda, over his last 6 starts, the Yankees have won all 6 of them. In 4 of them, he has pitched exceptionally well. 7 innings, 0 runs or 1 earned run. And the 2 games where they won that he was no good, he didn't pitch very well, they scored him a tremendous amount of runs. And that's how you really get on a roll as a pitcher and gain a lot of confidence. He's very comfortable in pinstripes now.
Ball 4. 2 on with 1 out for the Red Sox here in the second. What about the adjustment, Oral? Not only going from the National League to the American League, going from a pitcher's park at Dodger Stadium to a hitter's park here at Yankee Stadium.
But Yankee Stadium has been very friendly to him. I'll tell you, of any pitcher that has had 10 or more starts here, he has the lowest ERA at 2.68. So he has not had any problems with the short right field porch here in Yankee Stadium. And coming into the American League East and the American League, facing 9 hitters compared to, let's say, 7. Even though there's only 1 DH, you can pitch around somebody usually to get to a pitcher, and the lineups are weaker in the National League. And that's part of the adjustment, leaving the Dodgers and coming to the American League. And the other part is just getting to know your teammates, getting to know how to be comfortable in this uniform. And he's a great second-half pitcher over his career, and now being comfortable and throwing the ball well.
Good slider there and a swing and a miss. 0-2 the count on Will Middlebrooks, the rookie third baseman for the Red Sox, the everyday guy when Kevin Youkilis got hurt and then was subsequently traded to the White Sox. And as you can see, hit a little bump a few weeks ago, Bobby Valentine said, where he leveled off a little bit, but the overall numbers are still very good, and he's swinging the bat well again. In a normal year, his name would be in the conversation for Rookie of the Year, but this is not a normal year with Mike Trout around. Swing and a miss, and a second strikeout of the inning for Kuroda.
This is a very tight slider or a cut fastball, and it's late on the corner. With 2 strikes, a hitter has to really respect the fact that this could be a strike. That's a slider, and it is very, very tight. Tight spin, that red dot that he performed. And biting there at the end, missing the bat.
So 2 down in the inning now. Gonzalez at second, Saltalamacchia at first, and this is Ryan Sweeney, the right fielder. And a strike. A pretty good giddy up there, 94.
Yeah, 37 years old, still throwing 94. Give Ryan Sweeney some trouble, and that was his bread and butter pitch down there, that 2-seamer around the knees. That sets up the slider and the split finger.
Breaking ball lined into left center field, a base hit. In to score Gonzalez. Heading for third and getting the wave, Saltalamacchia. No relay to the plate. It's a 2-run double for Ryan Sweeney.
Looked to me off the bat like Andrew Jones thought he was going to be able to cut this ball off.
Yep.
Okay, you know, they give 1 run, but watch his route. Now all of a sudden he can't get it. Now he's got to go left, and that enables the second run to score.
And this is a place where when Nick Swisher's in right field and Ichiro has finally moved over to left field, I think Ichiro catches that ball, cuts it off very, very quickly. Yep. His speed, his ability to save runs as a defender, even though the average is down, he will really help them out there in left field.
Nick Swisher's got a hip problem. He's in the lineup as the DH tonight. Could be back in the outfield as soon as tomorrow. And at that point, Ichiro will, for all intents and purposes, become a left fielder for the New York Yankees. And Andrew Jones will share the DH job with Raul Ibanez. Pedro Siriaco, the batter. Another good slider there from Kuroda. The count is 1-1. Siriaco hitting .356, part-time guy, middle infielder, 10 for 18 against the Yankees this year. Mike Aviles has gotten most of the time at short for the Red Sox on the season. 2 balls and a strike.
But he's a good story. This is a kid that, you know, veteran minor league player that would get called over in spring training to play games. The staff grew to like him. He gets his opportunity in the major leagues, and he gets a bunch of hits, so he gets to keep playing.
Little time with the Pirates each of the last 2 seasons. He is from the Dominican Republic, 26 years of age.
And isn't it amazing that sometimes you can look at a roster as a player and think that to crack the big league roster is going to be insurmountable, and you get slightly depressed and you lose some confidence, and then you get an opportunity because of a rare circumstance like this, and then you start getting some hits and you get your belief system back in yourself, and sometimes these guys just take off and have wonderful careers.
Two. Weak ground ball to first to end the inning. 2-run double though for Ryan Sweeney. The Red Sox have an early lead here in the second. Robinson Cano will lead off the bottom of the inning when we come back. We're in the Bronx, Yankee Stadium. The Red Sox lead the Yankees 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the second. Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. Cleanup hitter Robinson Cano is going to lead it off for the Yankees against the left-hander Felix Dubron. Cano hitting .316. That is 5th best in the American League. And a strike from Dubron. After a slow start to the season in the power department as well, Cano started hitting home runs all over the place, and now he's got 22. Looking for his first hit against Dubron. Fly ball to center. Ellsbury with lots of room. Aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. One down here in the bottom of the second. This is the first series of the season for these two teams here in the Bronx. Hard to believe it took this long for the Red Sox to come here. The Yankees winning Friday night. The Red Sox bouncing back with a rain-delayed victory yesterday. Here's Nick Swisher DHing tonight. Battling a hip flexor problem that's cost him about a week. And Joe Girardi, I think you asked him all about having Swisher on the bench as the DH instead of in the outfield. And he said, imagine, like a 6-year-old kid, you give them too much candy, they got too much sugar in their system, and that's what Swisher's like, and he's hanging around the dugout making everybody nuts. I think they'll be glad to get him back in the outfield to kind of calm things down in the dugout and to get Ichiro over to left field. Watching Andrew Jones run after that ball, you can see what a difference Ichiro is going to make defensively when he goes over to left field.
Terry, kind of same thing you had when you would take Dustin Pedroia and put him next to you every once in a while to rest him?
Yeah, you couldn't wait to get him back in there. And, to Dan's point, give the Yankees some credit for doing their homework with Ichiro. You can't just get a guy like that and say you're going to hit him eighth and you're going to put him in left field. You got to do your homework and talk to him and communicate with him, because he doesn't just say yes to any team and accept those conditions.
Breaking ball grounded between third and short into left field. A base hit for Swisher. Well, Ichiro knows he's going to go to left field. It was one of the conditions he agreed to, really. He requested a trade, and he was willing to go to the Yankees and to make certain accommodations in order to become a Yankee and to get himself into a pennant race for the first time in a long time. And even though he's a right fielder tonight, he is taking fly balls, well, in left field, and that's what we're expecting,
right?
It's
a defensive savant.
Is that how you play left field? Left field spacious, in all seriousness, here at Yankee Stadium. 399 to deep left center. But you're looking at one of the most talented, gifted defensive outfielders that we have seen in many, many years. And I know both of you guys think that the transition from right field to left field will be minimal, if anything, for Ichiro. Here's Jones, diving stop, Siriaco in time at second. What a terrific play by Siriaco to force the lead runner.
And you can see that Nick Swisher's still not moving real good. I mean, on a normal day, I think when Swisher has his normal speed, he beats this out to second. Take nothing away from the play.
Dustin Pedroia does a nice job after this great effort of scooping the ball to the backside of the base. Keeping his foot on the bag and getting it right in the palm of the glove there. Missed the web, but used all of it.
Now Russell Martin with 2 down and a man at first. Martin, the Yankee catcher, hitting only 182 on the season, 11 home runs. Back to Ichiro. Terry, you played some outfield in your career. What's the biggest difference between playing right and playing left?
It's just the way the ball comes off the bat, whether it slices or hooks. I think by far left field will be a seamless transition for him. I think if you're a good outfielder, playing center field's easiest because you can read the ball better, but you have to have legs good enough to cover both gaps. Playing left field for him is going to be a piece of cake, even in this spacious Yankee Stadium.
He has never played in left field in a major league game. Elias telling us he's played 1,531 in right, 265 in center, but both the eye test and the defensive metrics, if you're into the defensive numbers, suggest he is still an elite defensive outfielder.
It's hard to talk to anybody who doesn't like this move. I mean, it seems like kind of a win-win. I mean, they're looking for Ichiro to be re-energized and be in the middle of a pennant race, do some of the things on the bases that they haven't had. This is a win-win, I think, defensively and offensively.
And they don't need a big bat in this lineup. They really need somebody to grind out at bats, get on base. Once you are on base, don't be a base clogger, and he's going to be an exceptional base runner.
Martin draws the walk.
Number 31, Ichiro Suzuki.
Finishing up his first home series as a member of the Yankees. Of course, right after the trade, the Yankees, they were already in Seattle. So his first games as a Yankee were in Seattle, of all places, as they chant his name here in the Bronx. Jones at second, Martin at first, 2 down. And a strike.
You know, we talked about the preparation that the Yankees gave with Ichiro as far as, you know, possibly playing left field, possibly hitting down in the order, and possibly sitting against left-handers. He's at a career low against lefties of 238. So there'll be nights maybe against certain lefties that he will actually sit.
Ground ball to second. And the inning is over. The Yankees will leave 2 men on the play by Siriaco. Now robbing the Yankees of an opportunity. Terrific play. Good scoop by Pedroia as well. 2-0 Boston at the end of 2.
And he had an erratic outing. 5 innings, 6 walks. That's not going to help the Marlins get what they're asking for in return for Johnson. The Rays had a great weekend against the Angels, and they have Evan Longoria coming back. You wonder if that's going to dampen their enthusiasm for making a trade of James Shields. And the whole baseball world is waiting to see if the Phillies now will put out some of their veterans on the market, like Shane Victorino, Joe Blanton, and Juan Pierre, Carl.
Carl, thank you. An interesting and a busy time of year here for the baseball season. There have been a number of significant moves already, and you wonder if there will be more to come in the next couple of days. Top of the order for the Red Sox as they lead 2-0 going to the top of the third. A strike taken by Ellsbury from Kuroda. By the way, one of those big trade acquisitions, Zach Greinke, made his Angels debut today. Pitched well, gave up just 2 runs in 7 innings, but the Angels lost to the Rays 2-0. You start to contemplate the Angel rotation with Jared Weaver, C.J. Wilson, Zach Greinke, Dan Herron as your 4th. Now they are sitting 4.5 back of the Rangers right now, but they're obviously right in the thick of the wild card race. And you wonder if the Rangers, who got some bad news today, Neftali Feliz pulled from a rehab start, discomfort in his elbow. You wonder, guys, if the Rangers are going to feel the need in the next 48 hours to make a counter move. Over the mound, Jeter from behind second. Not in time. Ellsbury with an infield hit.
And Tito spoke about this earlier, a dimension that Jacoby Ellsbury brings to this Red Sox team. And now Carl Crawford coming to the plate. Just the influence of speed to start this inning off and this possible rally.
And the Red Sox don't even have to put a play on. They can allow it to play itself out. They can leave Jacoby Ellsbury on his own, leave Carl Crawford on his own, and things are going to happen. It could be a hit and run just by Kuroda throwing a strike.
Ellsbury the lead being held by Teixeira. Ellsbury with 39 stolen bases last year when he had one of the great seasons that anybody had in baseball a year ago. He was the runner-up for American League MVP, finishing behind only Justin Verlander. And Terry, you managed this guy his entire career until this year. You saw the best of him last year. What was he like on a day-to-day basis?
We saw a kid blossom, I mean, right in front of our eyes. And I think we all hoped he'd be a really good player. But to do what he did last year, and after missing basically an entire year the year before with the broken ribs, is amazing. I mean, if they get that player back anywhere close to that, you know, my goodness.
You can see hit for power, stole bases, had 46 doubles, hit .321, drove in over 100 runs. Has only appeared in 21 games this year. This is 22nd because of the shoulder injury. Has only attempted 1 stolen base. He was successful in that steal. He, like Carl Crawford, battling injuries. Crawford originally coming back from wrist surgery, then suffered an elbow problem. Says he's still feeling discomfort in the elbow. There is talk that at some point he may require Tommy John surgery, and that he might not finish out this season, depending on whether or not the Red Sox hang around in the race. Bobby Valentine also talking yesterday and to us before the game tonight about how the trainers have recommended that Crawford only play 4 games in a row, then sit one out to rest the elbow. Perhaps they could use him as a DH to play around with that a little bit as well. Let's go down to Buster for more.
Guys, I talked to Crawford before today's game, and he told me that in about 7 to 10 days, he'll assess the situation, see where the Red Sox are, talk with the Red Sox, and that might be when he'll make a decision whether or not to have Tommy John surgery. Of course, the sooner he has it, the sooner he could come back in 2013.
Ellsbury not going, and the pitch swung on and hit out to Jeter at short. Shovel to second one. Cano to first. Not in time. Crawford aboard on a fielder's choice.
When you have speed at the top of the order, it can extend innings. Even though you make an out, you don't make 2. Carl Crawford hustling out of the box turns that from a double play into a fielder's choice. Derek Jeter with the exchange, making sure of 1. If he really needed a double play, let's say it was late in the game, first and third, Crawford up, they would have been a little tighter. He would have charged that a little harder. Pretty much a 1-out play with Crawford at the plate.
Here's Pedroia. What do you guys think of what Carl Crawford told Buster about 7 to 10 days from now deciding whether or not to shut it down?
It surprised me. I mean, for a player to say that, obviously something's going on in that elbow, because it's hard to play the game with a wait-and-see approach.
Strike taken by Pedroia. Now for pitchers, Tommy John surgery keeps you out a year. Less if you're a position player, but still, as Buster mentioned, the sooner you have it, the more likely you are to be ready for spring training in the beginning of the 2013 season.
Carl never had an exceptional arm even when he didn't need Tommy John surgery. They'll just be trying to get him back to be an adequate thrower out in left field. And if it isn't right at the very beginning as a complete left fielder, he might be able to come back as a DH and work his way back into left field. The arm might come quicker with swinging the bat than throwing.
And the Red Sox have yet to get anywhere near the best that Carl Crawford showed in his best days with Tampa Bay, either this year, obviously, or last year. Year 2 of a 7-year deal worth $142 million.
That contract stings right now if you're a Red Sox fan or in the Red Sox front office.
And you just wonder if they've got it in them, both in terms of health and production. Can they make a run? Can they get into the playoff race? They're still a team that a lot of people look at and say, with that second wild card, they've got a shot. They've got the talent. They're getting healthier. They'll find a way. But there are so many teams ahead of them in the wild card race right now.
Such a contrast in the two teams coming into tonight. The Yankees in such command of the American League East, and then those Red Sox trying to battle their way back just in the wild card.
Tigers there a game out. The White Sox are the leaders in the American League Central. You got Baltimore and Tampa Bay, both of whom won today. How about the Oakland A's? We talked about them last week. What a hot team they have been. Tricky hop at third to second one. On to first for the double play. Nix to Cano to Teixeira to end the inning. When you don the pinstripes, chances are they like you. Chances are they think you're going to turn into something pretty good. And they were right with number 2. Over 3,000 hits on his way to the Hall of Fame, on his way to getting his number retired here in the Bronx. Jeter hitting over 300 again, 38 years of age, as he continues to reach a milestone or pass somebody in something seemingly 2 or 3 times a week. Still going strong at his age. He's on deck right now as Jason Nix, the third baseman, will lead it off for the Yankees here in the third against Felix Doubront. Through 2 innings, Doubrant's given up a walk and a hit. He has struck out a couple. He has started against the Yankees twice this year, both of them in Boston, and he has pitched well in both of them. As Nix fouls it off. Nix and Eric Chavez are combining to replace Alex Rodriguez right now. Rodriguez out, it would appear, at least until September, after breaking a bone in his hand, hit by a pitch last week by Felix Hernandez of Seattle. Nix has done a nice job as a part-time player, and Eric Chavez, Tito, still productive, but not a guy you can roll out there every day of the week.
And Joe Girardi talked about it, about having the lines of communication be open between Eric and himself, because Eric's body probably can't handle playing 6-7 days in a row. But you let him face a right-hander, and he can still hit the ball in the ballpark, and he'll make all the plays at third.
Good breaking ball, 1-2. That's the curveball, Oral, that Bobby Valentine says is so effective for Doubront. A pitch he says he almost thinks he should throw more often than he does.
Yeah, he has a dominant curveball. I think in the American League there's only one better curveball statistically, and that would be Justin Verlander. Especially, Bobby said, when he struggles with his fastball, keeping it down, even though he has erratic command that day with the fastball, kind of up and away to righties, it then sets up the curveball.
It's a pitch he had coming through the minor leagues that was, one was good, one wasn't good. When he got to the major leagues, he'd throw a good one, and then he'd get hurt on it, and he kind of shied away from it for a while.
I'll tell you, you've got to love the arm, though. You know, a young man, 24 years old, in the mid-90s, with a breaking ball and a changeup already. A very competitive kid that just loves to be on the mound, wants to be out there in the big moment. His ceiling is very high.
He loses him, walking Nix to begin the inning. And that'll bring up Jeter.
For the Yankees, number 2, Derek Jeter.
And the voice of the late great Bob Shepard still bringing Derek Jeter to the plate here at Yankee Stadium. Jeter striking out his first time up. 128 hits on the season, second in the American League, fourth in the majors. Even with a bag at third, Middlebrooks, and Gonzalez holding on Nix at first as Nix draws a throw. 38-year-olds who are as productive as Jeter is are few and far between. 38-year-olds who are as productive at the shortstop position are virtually unprecedented, non-existent in baseball history. Out to second. 1, 2. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell, is brought to you by Jeep Grand Cherokee and by Sprint. We're here at Yankee Stadium with Oral Hershiser, Terry Francona, Buster Olney. I'm Dan Schulman. This is Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. The Red Sox and the Yankees, with Boston leading 2-0 in the bottom of the third. 2 outs, nobody on for Curtis Granderson. The Red Sox looking for a win to get them back to the 500 mark, to take 2 out of 3 here in New York. The Red Sox will go home for a 10-game homestand after this game against the Tigers, the Twins, and the Rangers. And with a second wild card and things so crazy in the American League, every game is important. I mean, theoretically, a Red Sox-Tiger game has wild card implications. You just don't know who's going to be in what race over the last couple of months.
And if you're the Red Sox, you need to make your move now. You can't wait till the end and try and jump over 5 teams, because somebody every night is going to be winning. So you need a good body of work to jump over that many teams. And time is running out for them, for me. If they had to jump over 1 or 2 teams, you can do that in 2-3 weeks. But when it's 7-8 teams.
You're right. This next 10-day homestand is going to be really big.
Red Sox a sub 500 team at home this year, 25-28 as Granderson gets a piece.
The intensity in this game, the Yankees are, their lead is padded. There's a long way to go, but this will be a game they would like to win, but they don't have the do or die mentality and the intensity that the Red Sox have in this game tonight, and how it will be written up tomorrow in Boston compared to how it would be written up here in New York.
Fouled back to our left into the press box. A shot of Midtown to Manhattan from the blimp that we've got going tonight. A little traffic on a Sunday night.
It's right by our hotel.
Turned into a nice night after some heavy rain this afternoon. 2-2 upstairs and a full count on Granderson.
If you think about these Red Sox, being a couple games under 500 if they lose tonight, 500 if they win, 11.5 out compared to 9.5 out.
It seems like a big swing game, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. And if you lose a game and you're in the wild card race, you can be pretty sure 3 or 4 of the teams ahead of you probably won that day. You're just losing ground on somebody no matter what. Upstairs, and Granderson is aboard. Dubron issuing his 3rd walk of the game. One thing that would really help the Red Sox is to get that guy back. David Ortiz has had a terrific season, but on the DL with an Achilles problem right now. By all accounts, though, it's going pretty well. And Tito, they could have him back as early as Wednesday.
And I think he fully expects to be playing on Thursday. He doesn't need a rehab game down in Pawtucket. He said he's ready to go. And you know what? He's not out there to steal bases.
No.
Here's Granderson. He's a threat. He's got 8 steals on the season. The batter was Mark Teixeira. Hit a fly ball to right field his first time up. Breaking ball in the dirt. Blocked by Saltalamacchia. Teixeira having one heck of a month. He's driven in 27 runs in July. That's the most of anybody in the big leagues. And is on his way to what looks like yet another season with 30 home runs and 100 RBIs. He's the Yankee leader in RBIs on the season. And no matter where he's been, he manages to come up with those kinds of numbers by the end of the year. Really about as consistent as any power hitter in the game. Looking for his 9th consecutive season of 30 and 100.
Consistent totals, but not consistent months.
True.
A very streaky hitter.
And as he gets older, he has to fight the same thing that Derek Jeter does. Every time he has a slump, he gets questioned, are you getting old? That's why I think Derek Jeter doesn't go into slumps anymore. He gets tired of answering the question.
Not worth the trouble.
Yeah, he just, again, we came in here in April and he was, he wasn't hitting, and everybody's saying, is he done? And you look up and he's going to be at 30 and 100 again.
For the 9th year in a row.
Dubron out in front of 1 and 2.
And that 9th year in a row of the 30 and 100 started in his sophomore season. So his first year he was around 28 and 84, and then he jumped right up to above 30 and 100, and he's had some monster years. I think he had a 43 home run year.
Drove in 144 runs one year. Out of play.
And he talks about at the beginning of the season when he gets off to such a slow start, Mark Teixeira, that a lot of times you don't get as many reps as a switch hitter from both sides of the plate in spring training, and it takes him a while to kind of gain his swing on one side, and then maybe the mechanics affect the other side. But as he then gets into his regimen and gets enough reps, he starts to get hot, and then as the weather warms up, he gets even hotter, and he's just a grinder. He tries to disregard the critiques during those slumps like we talked about, Terry.
It's amazing, though, how great players get to their level.
Yeah.
Robinson Cano doing the same thing.
Cano waiting in the on-deck circle. We talked about the slow start that he had, but now among the leaders in the batting average, and he's on his way to what could be a 30 home run season, 22 already on the year. Teixeira hooks the ball to left field, but it hangs up long enough for Crawford to make the catch to end the inning. We'll go to the top of the 4th. Adriana Gonzalez will lead it off for the Red Sox, who are already up 2-0. Back at Yankee Stadium, the Red Sox lead the Yankees 2-0 as we go to the top of the fourth. Sunday Night Baseball here on ESPN. Hiroki Kuroda facing Adrian Gonzalez to begin the inning. And the pitch runs off the outside corner for ball one. Gonzalez singled and scored back in the second when the Red Sox scored both of their runs. The runs coming in on a double by Ryan Sweeney. And a fastball away for ball two to Gonzalez, who is hardly walking at all this year. Just 23 walks on the season for a guy who used to walk over 100 times a year. Taken all the way, it looked like there, and the count is 2-1. I mean, that's a long time without a walk. Over a month. What does that say to you, Tito?
You know, one of two things. One, it could be his shoulder hurts, but then again, you look at his offensive production. You know, the home runs are down a little bit. Batting average is really climbing. He's swinging the bat great. I really don't know. You talk to Dave Magadan. He thinks he was a little more aggressive early on. He's making more contact with balls out of the zone.
Hits it hard, and the 3-1 is lined into right field for his second hit of the night. Let's go down to the field and rejoin Buster Olney.
Guys, Andy Pettitte, who of course went on the disabled list last month, has suffered a setback in his rehabilitation. Talked to Brian Cashman, their general manager. He said that while Pettitte was rehabbing earlier this week, he pushed it a little too hard, and now they're going to have to back off for the next week. But the Yankees don't consider this to be a major issue. Brian said to me, we are going to have him back in September. It really isn't that big of a deal.
And that, of course, would be big news for the Yankees' postseason rotation, possibly. Or if you get Pettitte back 1st of September, hypothetically, and he's got 4 weeks to get ready for the playoffs, is that enough time to slot him in there as the number 2 starter in the rotation?
Yeah, I think that he will be fine. Number 2, number 3, wherever. He will have enough time to get in shape. You're actually really saving bullets on an aging left-hander that has just made the comeback, and he just has to have a second spring training.
Yep. The benefit of having a big lead in the division, and maybe to a certain extent not having to worry as much as other teams about making the playoffs.
And even in the September starts, if they're having to groom him or to increase his endurance, he can come back and go 4 innings the first start, 5 innings the next start, 6 innings, and be up to 7 innings by the end of September and ready to go. And come September and playoff time, I don't think the Yankees will want him to go much more than 7 anyway.
Ross with a ground ball back to the mound. Kuroda to Cano. Smooth as anything on to first to turn the 1-4-3 double play. Well, with Pettitte on the DL, Sabathia, of course, is the guy at the front end of the rotation. Kuroda you're seeing tonight. Freddie Garcia's been filling in for Pettitte. You've also got Ivan Nova, who's got some postseason experience, and Phil Hughes. 4 10-game winners right now in the Yankee rotation.
That rotation looks different with Andy Pettitte's name in there.
Yeah. And it looks different with Sabathia pitching at his best as opposed to, you know, hot and cold. He hasn't quite been his normal self at times this year.
Well, the intimidating factor for the Yankees in the playoffs will be their offense, not their starting pitching. Starting pitching will be looked upon as a group that can keep them in all the games, and the defense and the offense will hopefully win the games. CC will have a lot of pressure for his individual starts because of the lack of exceptional depth for the Yankees.
Soft liner to second, caught by Cano. Saltalamacchia retired, and the inning is over. To the bottom of the fourth, the Yankees coming up down 2-0. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball is presented by Taco Bell. Back in the Bronx, Red Sox 2, Yankees nothing, going to the bottom of the fourth. In between innings, had a chance to speak with Boston skipper Bobby Valentine. Bobby, still 2 months to go, but a very crowded wild card race. Does it feel like the pennant race is on right now?
Oh, absolutely. I think our guys are into it, and they know we have a streak left in us, and we're going to have a big one, and that's going to put us right where we want to be.
You've gotten Crawford, Ellsbury, and Pedroia back. You're hoping to get Ortiz back this week. What would it mean to have really a complete lineup?
Well, I know our fans are dying to see it because we went all winter talking about what it would look like, and I'm dying to see it myself.
Bobby, thanks.
Okay, Dan.
I'm excited about having a complete lineup, but it bears repeating a point that Terry made earlier tonight. They can score all the runs they want. The top end of the rotation, which was supposed to be and historically has been one of the strengths of the team, John Lester, Josh Beckett. The Red Sox are 10 games under 500 in games started by Lester and Beckett. 9 games over 500 in games started by everybody else. And plain and simple, they're just not going anywhere unless those two guys start pitching better.
And I think the word that comes to mind is confounding. I mean, those two guys with the pedigree and they're healthy, it's hard to imagine, Bobby alluded to it, that they don't have a run in them. But for them to get that run, they got to get both those guys going.
Seems like yesterday was a step in the right direction for Lester.
I agree. Again, if they're able to get hot, can you imagine having to play the Red Sox in a one-game playoff with either Lester or Beckett at their best? That's not a real fun day at work.
Lester 5-8 with a 5.49 ERA. Beckett 5-9 with a 4.57 ERA. Do you see in either pitcher, both pitchers, oral, the stuff being diminished? Let's start with Beckett, who's older than Lester.
For me, it looks mental. The stuff at times looks exceptional, and you don't hear about any nagging injuries. You don't see that much loss in velocity. It's just a lack of consistency.
Cano with a little chopper back to the mound. New Bronx on to first, one down. These are guys you just counted on, and Terry, you did as their manager, counted on to win a whole lot more than they were losing. You can see especially Lester. I mean, he had a phenomenal one-loss record almost every single season, but their winning percentage is down. Their ERA's up. More pressure on the bullpen, not going as deep into games. And tough to get any lengthy winning streaks going when you don't have consistent starting pitching.
Dan, as far as even 3-4 years ago, I used to tell guys in spring training, the young kids, follow Beckett. And if you can keep up with him, good for you. And Lester was one of the guys that did, and I actually felt it was great for Lester's work ethic. That's how hard he worked.
Here's Swisher at a base hit. His first time up. On paper, Beckett, Lester, Buchholz. You feel good about that?
Yeah, you do. And then again, they've been getting their production from Dubront and Buchholz. And they're getting into a situation here now where Felix Dubront is starting to get in uncharted waters himself, just because he's never pitched that many innings. So it's going to be interesting to see how he reacts with that extra month.
This is his 111th inning this season. The most he's ever pitched in a season as a professional is 126. So will September be maybe a more difficult month for him? The Sox say they don't see any signs of him tiring.
And it's so interesting to see each organization handle their young pitchers differently with the different workloads. It's going to be a big story in Washington with Steven Strasburg. The Red Sox have no plans to shut Felix Dubront down or to back off on his workload.
No, but for being there and knowing the guys that are running the organization, I know they're very aware of the incremental, additions and innings per year, and they'll be keeping an eye on it.
But in some ways, they're probably handling it better than the Nationals, than putting it out there like this is our plan and let it being dissected by people like us, compared to just having a plan but keeping it in the background.
.95-mile-an-hour fastball. Swisher's gone, 2 down.
Now, this is another element of growth for Felix Dubront, because when he first got up here to the big leagues early on, he would continue to pound the strike zone low, but here he decides to go up the ladder and gets the out. Not only the out, but the strikeout. And there are times when a two-seam fastball pitcher that likes to keep down by the ball down by the knees needs to change eye level, and he's picking his spots very well now.
Third strike out of the ninth for Dubron. 2 down, nobody on, and here's Andrew Jones. Jones reached on a fielder's choice his first time up. He's got 12 home runs on the season and just 159 at bats. But again, with the addition of Ichiro, you get the feeling the Yankees, they're obviously thrilled with what they've gotten out of Jones and Raul Ibanez. But with no Brett Gardner coming back, another outfielder never hurts. You take some of the load off these guys, make them primarily DHs. And the Yankees are depending so heavily on so many older players, and Ichiro obviously is another one. But you just never know if all these guys can stay healthy and keep doing what they've been doing.
And for the longest time, they were holding out hope that Brett Gardner would come back. And when it became evident he couldn't, that's when they made the move for Ichiro. And basically, Ichiro takes Brett Gardner's spot, and they need that bat down in the bottom of the order.
And Ichiro can still steal a base, still steals bases at a good percentage. Dubron nods in agreement with Saltalamacchia. And it misses just above the belt. 2-2 now, the count on Jones.
.58 pitches in the fourth inning for Dubron. He's being very good as far as his efficiency.
In the dirt, full count. Red Sox got both their runs in the top of the second. Rubber match of a 3-game series as the Red Sox try to win and get back to the 500 mark. A big but somewhat quiet crowd here at Yankee Stadium. Fouled back by Jones.
Doesn't seem like, I mean, this ballpark's beautiful, don't get me wrong, but it just doesn't seem like it has the atmosphere of the old one.
It's different.
I'm on the same page with you.
I know the old one had asbestos coming out the ceiling and there, but it was electric playing in there.
It was charming in its own way, and it was electric always. A playoff game at Old Yankee Stadium as Jones draws the walk was something else.
I mean, as a visiting team, and especially from the Red Sox, by the time the anthem was over, you couldn't wait to get back in the dugout. Now a little different fan sitting around down there by the dugout.
Tore down the old one, built the new one. Brought some of the elements of the old ballpark here, of course, with the monuments, and the dimensions are the same as they were at the old ballpark. And the old ballpark, by and large, was in that dark and vacated area above the soccer field there. Russell Martin, the batter. When you came in here with the Red Sox, how did the people here treat you? I mean, they got some interesting people who work here. There's a lot of attitude in this ballpark. How did they treat you when you came in?
You know what, though, pretty good. Yeah. I mean, when you're here 8 years, you get to know everybody.
Yeah.
So there was a difference in the reception walking into the locker room under the tunnel compared to coming out of the locker room from the tunnel onto the field.
Oh, yeah. When you walk down through the, underneath the stadium, all the old guys that worked here in the old ballpark, they all knew, who I was, who my dad was.
Right.
I mean, it's a little different culture now.
Dubron suddenly struggling for his control. Lost Andrew Jones. Now he's 2-0 on Russell Martin. And this is going to be Dubron's problem. He walks too many, or the pitch count gets up there. He averages more than 17 pitches an inning, and ideally you'd like to be down really about 13 or 14, so that catches up to him.
Yeah, we were talking about how efficient he'd been with his pitch count, but he had, Andrew Jones in a count where he could have got a cheap out with a 1-2, 2-2 count, but he tried to really pitch to him and kind of was very tentative and throwing him a strike, ends up walking him, and it takes the pitch count up. And now he goes 3-0 here. And if you do this in 2 different innings during a night, you will cut back, a whole inning and a half as far as your ability to get deep into the game. It's okay not to strike somebody out. You can get them out with a weakly hit ball.
Walks another one. The 5th walk that Dubron has given up. Bob McClure, the pitching coach, on his way to the mound. Major League Baseball continues on ESPN. Tomorrow night, it is the Angels and the Rangers. Tomorrow at 7 Eastern, 2 of the 3 contending teams in the American League West. And then Wednesday night at 7, you can see the Red Sox again as they host the Detroit Tigers, who currently sit 2nd in the American League Central behind the White Sox. Both games also available on ESPN3 and the Watch ESPN app. So a little wildness here for Dubron.
And I know it doesn't have anything to do with the outcome of the game, but when Ichiro does that before every at-bat, where he squats down like that and like a duck, I used to stand in the other dugout and marvel at that every at-bat.
Your hamstrings would get sore just looking at it.
I wouldn't have been able to get back up.
Ichiro grounded out with 2 on, 2 out in the 2nd. Up here in the same spot in the 4th. He has struggled this year batting with the runners in scoring position, which some would say will make him fit in fine with the Yankees, who have really struggled at times in that area. More early in the season, they've done better lately. You still marvel at the way he hits. He's 4 feet down to first base and still thinking about reaching out and just volleying that ball into left field.
And he still runs good. He doesn't run like he used to. And it was so hard to defend him because he didn't know where he was going to hit the ball.
Over 2,500 hits as a big leaguer.
He had over 1,200 hits over in Japan.
When he first came to the United States and Seattle Mariners, you had to play him defensively at double play depth even when nobody was on, because if he hit a 2-hopper, he was bang, bang at first.
Jones at 2nd, Martin at 1st, 2 down, 2-0 Red Sox in the bottom of the 4th. Down low, ball 2.
The other thing, early in his career, Ichiro, there he goes down into that thing that you admire so much, how he can squat down and get back up. He could hit the ball the opposite field with a little power, and you couldn't play him in as far as Carl Crawford is in left field right here. So if he kind of flicks at a breaking ball, if Crawford's elbow holds up, it'll be bang, bang at the plate, as shells they are.
Dubron having to work hard, about to throw his 25th pitch of the inning. He has been his own worst enemy, walking 2 in the inning and 5 on the night. Two and 2. Was that a little cutter oral? Looked like it had a little
maybe
dip
a little
right
little change up at 87. And this is one of the things you never saw from Ichiro early in his career, is a swing and miss. We talked about in our production meeting some of the best hands in the game. Well, Ichiro has had some of the best hands in the game when he's had that bat in his hand and also when he's had his glove.
200 or more hits 10 times in his major league career. Not this time, though. A lazy pop-up into for the shortstop, Siriaco, who makes the catch, and 2 more men are left on by the Yankees. Top 5, Red Sox 2, Yankees nothing. Between innings, Buster Olney with the Yankee manager, Joe Girardi.
Joe, we heard about Andy having some kind of a setback during his rehabilitation. What was that about?
He didn't have a setback. The healing process is going to go, sometimes it's going to go quicker, sometimes it's going to slow down, and it's just not as far as long as it has to be for him to get off a mound. And we didn't expect it to be, and that's why we put him on the 60-day DL, because you figure it's going to probably be 6 weeks before he gets off the mound. And it's only been about 3.5.
Now, you've been managing Ichiro for about a week. Yeah. What have you learned about him in that time you didn't know before?
Well, he's got a good sense of humor, and he seems like to get on the guys a little bit, in the hitting groups when they're out there, and he likes to have fun, and he's played hard, and we're glad we have him.
Joe, thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Buster.
Hey, Joe.
And talking about how he's seemingly become one of the guys very quickly. After just a week with the New York Yankees, after spending his entire previous major league career in Seattle.
And speaks English very, very well.
Yeah.
So
better than he wanted to let on in his early years, right? Kind of kept him from having to do interviews all the time. Will Middlebrooks leading off the 5th for the Red Sox. Hiroki Kuroda on the mound for the Yankees tonight. And a ground ball down to third. Right at Nix. One down.
And when they get reconfigured, when Swisher's in right field and they move Ichiro over to left field, as we watch this base hit that Sweeney hit, this game will be 1-0 because there's no way Ichiro will corral this and get it back in, and it'll be 1 run. It's just Andrew Jones, he goes after it, he commits to it, and then you can see him has to make a left. It's just not the same legs that used to patrol center field for the Atlanta Braves.
Here's Sweeney. The double, the 2 RBIs, and his first at bat back in the second. I think the outfield's been the spot more than any other spot of the Red Sox team, where Bobby Valentine has had to juggle and improvise, and you just never know who's going to be out there. Adrian Gonzalez even started 18 games out in right field earlier this season. 2-hopper to first, backhanded by Teixeira, 2 down.
I think what they've done offensively is to be complimented. I mean, they have scratched and clawed and found ways to score runs with guys like Daniel Nava. I mean, Pedro Siriaco. It's been different names every night. Again, though, it comes down to pitching. And Oral, I mean, you know this, I mean, better than anybody. It's hard to put a streak together when you don't pitch consistently.
You know, you can't have your top 2 pitchers be your stoppers, but the wrong way, where they put a dent in a possible streak. And they have had so many opportunities this year where it looked like the Red Sox were going to get hot, and John Lester or Josh Beckett stopped the streak. And it's not only losing the game, but losing the first inning. They've been terrible in the first inning coming out of the bullpen.
I thought when Adrian Gonzalez went out to right field, I think he started 18 games out there. I thought that was something that would possibly turn the team around. Just the fact that he was willing to go out there. And again, Major League players don't want to embarrass themselves. And he was willing to go out there, and he did a great job, but it allowed Ortiz's bat to be in the lineup at first base. And I thought that would propel him a little bit, give him a little identity or a little personality as a ball club.
You can see last place in the American League East, much more realistic for them in terms of a possible playoff spot, of course, is the wild card race.
The emotional and verbal leader right there, Dustin Pedroia. And physical leader, MVP, and he does it all. Talk about energy all day long, from infield practice to warm-ups to BP to...
From sitting in the clubhouse 4 hours before the game. Small guy, big presence in that clubhouse, huh?
He's never at a lack of anything to say to anybody that walks in that room.
Siriaco chases, and the inning is over. 3 up and 3 down. Go the Red Sox to the bottom of the 5th here in the Bronx. Boston leading 2-0. back to New York where the Red Sox have a 2-0 lead on the Yankees. We go to the bottom of the 5th here on Sunday Night Baseball. Aerial coverage tonight being brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Dan Shulman, Terry Francona, Oral Hershiser, Buster Olney. All glad you're along with us for the Red Sox and the Yankees tonight. 1 week from tonight, we will be at Busch Stadium in St. Louis to see the defending World Series champion Cardinals take on the Milwaukee Brewers. The Cardinals are in a battle right now. They are 3rd in their own division behind Cincinnati, who won again today. The Reds beat Colorado again. They've won 10 in a row. Pittsburgh lost today, but they are still 2nd place in the NL Central. 3 back of the Reds. St. Louis has fallen to 7.5 back behind the Reds, who just don't lose anymore. Felix Dubron on the mound for Boston, battling his command problems tonight. He has walked 5 through 4 innings, but so far, other than a high pitch count, has yet to pay the price for it. Gotten a double play, and the Yankees have left 5 men on through the first 4 innings. Jason Nix looks at a strike. Cincinnati and Washington, both of whom won today, now both have a record of 61 and 40. If the Yankees win tonight, they will also be 61 and 40. Great years for the Reds and the Nationals. Nix with a fly ball to right field. Sweeney back just shy of the wall. Look at some news and notes from around the National League. As mentioned, the Reds and Nationals now share the best record in baseball. The Atlanta Braves won again today as well. They swept Philadelphia. They're tied with the Pirates for top spot in the wild card race. Clayton Kershaw shuts out the Giants. The Dodgers sweep the Giants. The Dodgers are tied with the Giants atop the National League West. It's going to be a great couple of months.
You're not kidding. Maybe not for managers. But for the fans, it's terrific.
So many different things could happen. The races could go so many different ways. Derek Jeter, the batter. And look at the American League Central. The Tigers get on a roll. They move into first place just when you think they've put it all together. Here come the White Sox. And the White Sox go back on top, leading by 2.5 entering play today. Detroit did win today. They won in Toronto 4-1. And right now the White Sox are playing tonight. They're trailing Texas 2-0. So if that holds, the lead would be down to 1.5 games for the White Sox over the Tigers.
And there's still some moves to be made before Tuesday at 4 o'clock. There's still some pitchers out there, and there's still some teams that are going to, you watch, they'll pull a trigger and they'll put themselves in a better position to win.
Just inside of the knees, a ball and a strike on Jeter, who has struck out and grounded into a double play.
It was interesting to hear Buster give us updates from his communications around the league, as some of the general managers described it as the calm before the storm, that they're expecting more and more moves to break loose.
Well, Buster, when you look at Dempster, Garza, Shields, Johnson, would you say any of them is likely to be traded at this point?
Well, out of those 4, I think the most likely is still Dempster. Of course, he rejected that trade to the Atlanta Braves. The Cubs would still like him to accept that or to get a better offer from the Dodgers so Dempster can go where he wants to go in Los Angeles.
Swing and a miss, and Jeter is gone. What's the, as you're on Twitter tonight, Buster, what's the biggest topic trade deadline-wise right now?
The Phillies. Everyone wondering where are their guys going to go. There are reports tonight, and our Jason Stark had one of them, that they are now in sell mode, and of course that means marketing Shane Victorino. That could mean marketing Juan Pierre. They've had a lot of conversations with other people about Hunter Pence, as well as pitcher Joe Blanton.
All right, Buster, thank you. Trade deadline 4 Eastern Tuesday. After that, of course, you can still be traded if you clear waivers, but this is the first trade deadline coming up on Tuesday afternoon.
And what a change of focus in Philadelphia once they signed Cole Hamels, because he was the prized possession. Everybody was waiting to find out what the Phillies were going to do with him.
Trade deadline special Tuesday afternoon, 3 until 4:30 Eastern time on ESPN. And so as the deadline's coming and things are going down, you'll find about them right away here on ESPN. Remember when the old trade deadline happened in the evening happened during ball games. You'd have guys in the on-deck circle getting pulled out of the game in the middle because they were traded. It's a little bit.
Guys play for one team in the first half of a doubleheader, play for the second team in the second half.
You still see the odd time leading up to the deadline, guys saying goodbye to their teammates in the dugout. I think Wandy Rodriguez went through that a few days ago, but guys getting literally pulled out of the middle of a game doesn't happen as much as it used to. Foul it off, and Granderson's still alive. It's a tense time in clubhouses, though, right? For
you know what, it really is. And it's exciting for fans and for us following it. But for guys with families and kids, and, you know, it sometimes it's pretty emotional. I mean, once you've been through it, I think you're okay. But for the first time, it can really throw you as a player.
1-2 to Granderson. Breaking ball up and in. Crowd didn't like it, but obviously no intent on the slow curveball.
And the perfect example right here with Curtis Granderson up with 2 outs, a 1-2 count for DeBrant, where he needs to really compact his pitch count and make a quality pitch to get him out. Not really dink around and be careful and try to strike him out. Just make a quality pitch and try and get him to hit the ball weakly.
Swing and a miss to end the inning. 5 strikeouts for DeBrant, 5 shutout innings, 2-0. The Red Sox lead with the top of the order coming up. Way back in the Texas lineup, batting 5th, been struggling for weeks now. Heard some boos down in Arlington, was on the bench for a game. Back in there batting 5th tonight as Texas tries to beat the White Sox. Jacoby Ellsbury leading off the inning, drives the ball into the alley in left center field. Granderson up with it on the track, but it's an easy lead-off double for Ellsbury here in the 6th inning, his 2nd hit of the night.
Now, it'll be interesting to see how Boston plays this. At worst, they want Ellsbury to be at 3rd with 1 out. So whether Crawford swings or bunts, they got to move Ellsbury here.
Wait a minute. The Boston Red Sox are going to drop a bunt down in the 6th inning of a game to move a runner? Is that what you're telling me?
These aren't your mom and dad's Red Sox. Is that what you're getting at?
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, sometimes, again, 2-0 lead, make 3-0. It's again, Carl Crawford's been struggling a little bit. with his legs, he could make something happen.
And a strike. Crawford 0 for 2 tonight. Even with a bag of third, maybe a step or two closer than that is Nix, the third baseman. Jeter shading up the middle right now, trying to keep Ellsbury close. Pitches inside to Crawford. So far, no sign of a bump put on by Bobby V. Trusting Crawford at the very least to pull a ground ball. Pretty good pitch oral there by Kuroda to keep it away from him.
Yeah, hard away with good tail. Very hard to pull that ball over to second base or first base. He's been exceptional tonight, throwing strikes. Very aggressive, very precise pitcher. Made it look like a strike and then ran it off the plate, and Crawford chased.
Just low. Pretty close to take with 2 strikes on it.
That sure was. Sometimes you take it because you couldn't hit it.
Right. Well, you don't tell anybody that, huh? Leadoff double for Ellsbury. Red Sox up 2-0 in the 6th. Low again.
Well, this is where if you run your pitch cut up a little bit as Kuroda here, you really are trying to get an out without letting that runner Ellsbury move over to third. So this is a time where you actually go for the strikeout.
(3-2) and it's popped up out of play. There's been a lot of discussion, Terry, over the last couple of years, even a little bit when he was in Tampa Bay, about Crawford and where's the best spot for him in the batting order. Everybody knows he's been moved around a little bit. In a perfect world, where do you think he's best suited?
Well, that's a hard one for me because I think it depends on what you value the most. And for me, the guys at the top of the order, I want them to be on base. If they can run, great. But if you're going to have one or the other.
Jeter knocked it down, couldn't come up with it cleanly, and as a result has no play. It'll be a base hit for Crawford.
To continue that thought a little bit, if you have a guy that can run like Crawford, but he's not getting on base as much as other guys, if you hit him down in the order, then you get to use his speed, and because you want guys to be on base for the middle of your order.
That's a hard enough play for Derek Jeter if there's nobody in the line of fire, but Ellsbury was in the way at the crack of the bat because of the way he took his secondary lead, and Derek had to kind of glance between he and the batter to try and pick that ball up, and I think that's what kind of fooled him.
So first and second, nobody out. Ellsbury obviously had to hold his ground. Not sure if Jeter was going to catch that ball or not.
That was really good base running by Jacoby Ellsbury. And now this makes it doubly tough because both runners can run at will, and Jacoby Ellsbury has the green light.
Pedroia, the batter, will take outside. Pedroia has grounded out twice tonight, once into a double play. First and second, nobody out. Boston looking to extend the lead here in the 6th. You look at how the two pitchers have pitched tonight, Earl. I don't know if you would agree with this or not, but you can make a case that Kuroda's actually pitched better than Dubront, but he's trailing in this game right now.
It really could be 0-0. The inning that they scored 2 runs was built by a seeing eye ground ball from Adrian Gonzalez, and then the 2-out double by Sweeney that really should have only been a single. And Sweeney probably should have never come to the plate that inning if they would have gotten that seeing eye ground ball. But Kuroda has been very, very consistent. And this is a key moment in this game with Pedroia, the best player on the Red Sox, trying to get them back to 500. And they've got the 2-0 lead, but he can give them some breathing room.
Dubront's only given up 1 hit tonight through 5 innings, but he has walked 5 batters and has managed to pitch around that so far. Now with Kuroda falling behind 2-0 on Pedroia, Russell Martin takes some time to go out to the mound.
The uncomfortable thing for the Red Sox is their relievers have posted a 7.8 ERA against these Yankees this year. They've been great against the rest of the league, 2.73. So when you talk about should Crawford a bunt, and then he hits the line drive, Jeter doesn't handle it. Now you got Pedroia up there, first and second, no out. This is a key situation for the comfort of the Boston dugout.
You got to believe Pedroia's thinking fastball. 2-on, 2-0. Any chance Kuroda throws something other than a fastball here?
Kuroda is so precise with his command of all his pitches, and he's not afraid to throw any. He's aggressive in the strike zone, but he'll throw any of them.
Well, it's a fastball, and it's fouled off.
And he's done a really good job because Jacoby Ellsbury is trying to steal third. And they've done a really good job of making him hold his ground.
And Kuroda is not the fastest to the plate. The watches on the field are the same as the one that I've been taking. He's about 1.3, 1.4 to the plate most times. And that's pretty easy to get a jump on. It's all about getting the jump, and he's doing a good job bluffing him back with his head.
Another fastball, foul it off, 2-2. A jam for Kuroda. 2 men on, nobody out. The dangerous Pedroia at the plate, and a very hot hitter in Adrian Gonzalez on deck. Gonzalez 2 for 2 already tonight. And a guy who leads all of baseball batting with runners in scoring position. 418 on the season, and it looks like, depending on what happens here, obviously, that he might have a chance to get up there with somebody or a couple of somebodies in scoring position, depending on how the Pedroia at bat winds up. A jam for Kuroda. Pedroia with a fly ball to left field. Andrew Jones back to make the catch on the track. Tagging is Ellsbury. He'll come to third. Back to first goes Crawford. Pedroia upset, just missed it.
I would say that seems upset.
Yeah. Now you heard that a time or two.
Now it's interesting because Boston has all this speed on the bases, but if they elect to let Carl Crawford run, do the Yankees walk Adrian Gonzalez and set up the double play?
Ellsbury at third, Crawford at first, 1 out. And Gonzalez facing Kuroda.
As a manager, Terry, aren't you sitting there grinding, going, Adrian Gonzalez is swinging a hot bat? I don't want to take that out of his hands.
Yeah, you know what?
Even though he's a good double play candidate.
That's the thing, is this is what Kuroda does well. And he's actually hit 2 ground balls already. They just found holes.
Ball 1.
If I'm Kuroda and I'm down 2-0, I pitch him really tough. I don't mind bases loaded, 1 out.
If Carl Crawford takes off, I'd be very surprised if the Yankees even throw through.
I get a right-on-right situation with the next hitter. I get another double play candidate. And I'm trying to keep my team close in this game and not let this blow apart, but I'm going to risk a big inning to try and put a 0 on the board.
Bullpen is quiet right now. Kuroda's already gotten 2 double play balls tonight. Hoping for another one to get out of this mess right here. In for a strike, 2-1.
He was trying to throw a quality pitch. He got a lot of the plate with that, but he's trying to throw a little backdoor slider. Ball ended up coming down the middle.
In the outfield, they play Gonzalez to hit the ball the other way. Pretty good gap in right center and down the right field line as well. Ground ball to second. And he does get another double play. Third one hit into by the Red Sox here tonight, and it remains 2-0. Back here, well, as you look outside Yankee Stadium here in the Bronx, the Red Sox lead the Yankees 2-0, and one of the reasons the game is still just 2-0. Yet another double play ball, Oral, that the Red Sox ground into. Hiroki Kuroda has induced 3 double play grounders tonight.
A couple fastballs into Gonzalez, fell behind 2-0, then went with a backdoor slider, and then down the middle. He really got away with that pitch, but then threw an outstanding split finger away that gave him that double play ball. He took the risk of building a big inning against Adrian Gonzalez, falling behind with the fastball, but really did a nice job pitching backwards and getting that double play ball.
And how big is that? Still just a 2-run deficit as some of the big hitters for the Yankees come up here in the bottom of the 6th, beginning with Mark Teixeira, 0 for 2 on a couple flyouts. Teixeira will be followed by Robinson Cano and then Nick Swisher. Just 1 hit so far for the Yankees. That was a base hit through the left side by Swisher back in the 2nd. Swisher due up 3rd here this inning. Cano waiting on deck. Just outside.
Dubron has been on his game and off his game. 5 walks, but when he's built innings for the Yankees, he shut them down and found his way back to the zeros in those innings.
Look at that curveball. Strikeout number 6 for Felix Dubron.
Even when it's a hanger, it's sharp. This ball is up. It could be a hanging curveball, but right at the very end still has good spin and good depth, even though it's up around the shoulders. A bad pitch that Mark Teixeira will say, I think I should have hit that one, but Dubron still had a pretty good break on that.
You can see the walks have been a problem, but he has pitched around those walks because of his ability to get the big out, sometimes the big strikeout when he needs it the most. Cano is 0 for 2 as he looks at a strike.
He
struck out the last 3 batters he's faced. Robinson Cano left on left right here. Yankees just trying to get some action.
That was a good one.
I tell you what, Dan, you get a feel for the curveball, and it can make it a very easy inning. Terry talked about how early in his career he had a few of these good curveballs kind of hit and lost confidence in it, but these last few, you throw what you think is a hanger and you get a strikeout, and then you throw a nice one and you strike out your 4th guy in a row. Just made 2 really hot hitters look bad. Cut fastball slider there, the big curveball, and then a fastball high and away. Determined look as he executes the pitch. Cano can only turn back to the Yankee dugout.
As Oro mentioned, 4 consecutive strikeouts now for Dubron. Jeter, Granderson, Teixeira, and Cano. Here's Swisher, who has singled, the only hit of the night for the Yankees, and has also struck out. And now he's got the only 2 Yankee hits on the night.
You saw that little look right there. It's like, well, that was a good curveball. He just happened to hit it in the right place. Same type pitch, different results. Tip your cap to Nick Swisher. He finds the hole. He hits it pretty hard. It's a curveball to start the count off with nobody on, 2 out.
So a man aboard now with 2 down for Andrew Jones. Jones has reached on a fielder's choice and walked. Still 2-0. The Yankees batting in the bottom of the 6th. And you start to hear a little bit of a cheer of "Let's go Yankees." Again, big game, full house. Red Sox just been pretty quiet tonight, and the energy doesn't come as easily here as it used to, but now they're starting to get going.
And this is the reason they have Andrew Jones on their team, to do damage against the left-hander.
One-0 to Jones. Fastball popped up. Gonzalez, Pedroia. Pedroia will make the catch, staggering as he does so to end the inning. 6 in the books in the Bronx, and the Red Sox still lead. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell, is brought to you by The Bourne Legacy. There was never just one. In theaters August 10th. And Toyota Care, caring for you and your car. Miguel Cabrera, Brandon Phillips, David Price, and Justin Verlander are among the more than 100 players, including more than 60 current Major League players, to have visited the MLB Fan Cave this season. The Fan Cave has also hosted over 24 concerts and celebrity guests, including DeFray and Charlie Sheen. Watch MLB Fan Cave player videos and stay up to date on the latest cave happenings by visiting MLBFancave.com. Follow at MLB Fan Cave on Twitter and like the MLB Fan Cave on Facebook. Top 7 in the Bronx, still 2-0 Red Sox. Cody Ross facing Hiroki Kuroda. Slider for a strike. Ross tonight has struck out and grounded into a double play. You weren't with us earlier. Both runs tonight scoring in the second inning on a 2-out, 2-run double by Red Sox right fielder Ryan Sweeney. Kuroda has given up the 2 runs on 6 hits through 6 innings. Ross with a little looper, shallow left. It'll drop in front of Jones. Again, showing his limited mobility out there. Second time tonight we've seen that.
There's some miles on those wheels out there. There's a double that should have been a single earlier, and that ball possibly is caught. I think if Ichiro's out there and left, when Swisher becomes healthy and in right, Ichiro moves over to left. See the jump here, and yeah, Andrew, he freezes out there, and he didn't take his first step until that ball was well over Jeter's head.
Well, a guy when he was younger was as good as we've seen in the last 25, 30 years in the outfield. But he's the same age as Ichiro, right? But they have not aged equally. Ichiro can really cover a lot more ground out there now than Andrew Jones can.
I don't know if Andrew does that deep knee bend like Ichiro. If he'd be able to get back up.
Andrew's actually much younger, forgive me. Andrew Jones is 35. Ichiro's 38.
Ichiro's always moving out there in the outfield, doing some kind of stretch, in motion. Sometimes people think, is he actually even watching the pitch? Sometimes he's moving so much.
Jared Saltalamacchia. Backdoor slider there catches the outside corner. 1-1 on the Red Sox catcher, who's walked and lined out. What were the struggles like, say, 2 years ago for him? I mean, there was a time where you wondered if he was going to really make it as a big league player on a regular basis.
Last year in April, it was tough, and taking over for Jason Varitek was not easy for anybody. This kid's come a long way.
What's he like handling a pitching staff, working with the pitchers?
You know what? Again, taking over for Jason was not an easy chore.
Yeah.
But with Jason's help, I think the pitchers really enjoy throwing to him. I'll tell you what, he'll give you an honest day's effort.
He looks like a grinder out there, doesn't he?
He likes to play.
Yeah.
He likes to play.
Jason called a game at a graduate level. He was like a fifth-year senior, right? And he dissected it and studied the reports and digested it. And that's hard to jump all the way from I'm just learning the league, learning how to call games, learning a staff, and jump to that level. You've got to have some time to grow.
Oh, you're right. I mean, pitchers threw pitches with conviction because of who was behind the plate.
Well, I know Mike Scioscia must have had some conviction behind the plate, because 24 years later, every time we go see the Angels, he and Orel are still arguing about something. We're not in that office for 30 seconds before an Angels game before you guys are getting on each other about something.
Yeah, there's catchers that are brilliant, and they end up being great managers. Joe Girardi here, and there are they make a lot of decisions when they're players, and they are very comfortable then making a lot of decisions as they become managers.
Two pretty good ones right there, huh?
Tony Pena, I got to throw to him when I was with Cleveland. 95, 96, 97, I was there. I just like the way Tony could make a really low target for a big guy.
Yep. Broken back, ground ball to third. The second one on to first. The fourth double play that the Red Sox have hit into tonight.
Well, I'll tell you what, every time it looks like he gets himself into a corner, he makes a great pitch here. He's down in the count, 3-1. He sinks it with movement and gets the double play he needs.
Never before in the big leagues has Hiroki Kuroda induced more than 2 double play grounders. He's gotten 4 here tonight, helping to keep the Yankees close. Here's Middlebrooks. Oh, 2. But no matter what the situation is on the mound, his expression never changes. His rhythm doesn't seem to change very much.
And in this ballpark with these Yankee hitters, if it stays like it is 2-0, as soon as somebody gets on, immediately you're thinking possible tie game.
Hey, Hiroki Kuroda, of all the Japanese-born pitchers, he has a little different style. He's really not out there trying to fool you. He is a pitcher that likes to attack, likes you to get used to the fact that I throw strikes, and then he can make that pitch that you will chase. He gets more bats started, I think, than Daisuke or Nomo.
Of any Japanese pitcher, there it is right there, who has pitched in the majors with 100 or more starts, he has the lowest career ERA, and it's not even close.
And I think Yu Darvish is going to be really close to this guy. I think their stats are going to be really close. Yu Darvish is the same way. He's not afraid of his fastball. He doesn't think about trying to fool somebody. He wants to attack. And I think the Rangers have a real good one down there. Strong right-handers that are very aggressive, like to use their fastball, pound the strike zone, and then show the variety of pitches to get people out.
2-2 the count, 2 outs, nobody on. Just outside. Well, he's had pinpoint location with that slider much of the night. Just missed the outside corner. Working quickly. 3-2. Got him. 7th inning stretch here in the Bronx. It remains Red Sox 2, Yankees nothing after yet another double play turned by the Yankees. back in the Bronx, bottom of the 7th. Time now to take a look at our game track. Brought to you by Ram. It remains 2-0 for the Red Sox over the Yankees. Nick Swisher has the only 2 hits on the night for the Yankees. Ryan Sweeney has driven in the only 2 runs of the game. Felix Dubron and Hiroki Kuroda are still out there. Kuroda getting 4 double play balls tonight. Otherwise, this might be a whole different ball game right now. Dubron has struck out 7, including 4 consecutive batters between the 5th and 6th innings. He'll face the bottom third of the Yankee lineup: Russell Martin, Ichiro, and Jason Nix. I think the 7th inning stretch got people a little more fired up here. They've caught a second wind here in the Bronx. A little more buzz in the ballpark right now. Martin has walked both times up tonight.
For a Yankee Red Sox game, it's been an odd night as far as the energy from the Yankee fans. They really have not brought it tonight.
And you're used to seeing Yankee Red Sox games obviously have all kinds of crazy dramatic twists and turns and things you've never seen, and it's been kind of just a regular baseball game. Well pitched game.
Very crisp.
We have 2.5 innings.
Long way to go.
A lot can happen.
Are you saying put your seatbelt on?
Yeah.
You never know.
Did you feel like you were like in a 10-round fight when it was over at the end? Just like you just got beat up emotionally?
Yes. Yes.
The games themselves or the hoopla
It's everything. The games themselves were fun, but they beat you up a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was all the stuff on the periphery that I think I know it tired me out.
Yeah.
The media before, the media after, the things that were true, the things that weren't true. There's a lot of stuff to deal with.
Now you're relaxed, you're tanned, your golf game is good.
His golf game's good.
Whoa. You know what?
You're relaxed, you're tanned.
There you go.
You're playing more golf at least, right?
I was going to say how you're going to say that without fudging a little bit.
2-2. Well hit to right field. Carrying and gone.
And that one swing is going to change this whole ball game. All of a sudden, you're going to see the Boston Red Sox bullpen get going in a hurry. It's going to bring the stadium to life.
You said we had 2.5 innings.
But here we go.
Yeah. Now Ichiro. Number 12 on the season for Martin has cut the deficit in half. And here they go. The right-hander Matt Albers and the left-hander Andrew Miller. Ichiro tonight is grounded out and popped up. He is 5 for 21 as a Yankee, a .260 hitter on the season.
And a hit in every game that he's played for them.
Pulled foul.
And when you would think he has him set up for the breaking ball right here.
I think he can double up with the fastball in and then go breaking ball, or he can go right to it right away.
Two and two the count. Up and in, and did it hit him or the bat? Brian O'Nora is saying it hit the bat, and Ichiro is trying to show him it hit his hand. Or maybe just adjusting the batting gloves. Joe Girardi doesn't look like he's going to come out and argue. It's been ruled a foul ball. I thought Ichiro was taking the glove off, going to show him a welt or something. Hit the bat.
Right off the knob.
Again, the 2-2. Up and in. Full count.
This is a huge pitch. He can still run the bases very well. That home run did change the chemistry in this ballpark, and Dubront is teetering.
You're right. He might be pitching to stay in the game right here.
Chase to pitch down. Bouncer to third. Infield hit.
It's like the ghost from the old ballpark came over as soon as Terry talked about this game's got 2.5 innings to go. Russell Martin starts it off with this blast. Really in a deep slump, not swinging the bat very well, but finds his 12th home run here. And then Ichiro's cue shot.
Paul Simon here at Yankee Stadium. Loving the short porch.
Yankees building the bridge over troubled waters right now.
Wow, Aura, look at you. Look at you.
Never failed to impress.
Ichiro, the tying run at first. Nobody out on the bottom of the 7th. Dubront stays. Nixes the batter. He's walked and flied out. Shows bunt. Bounced in for ball 1. Top of the order. Jeter's on deck. Joe Girardi relaying the signs. Red Sox bullpen busy. Nix a look down to Rob Thompson, his third base coach. Middlebrooks way in on the grass at third, looking for the bunt again. Thompson relaying the signs. Ichiro can still steal a base. He's 16 for 19 this season.
I don't think he steals here. I think they wait for the right-hander to come out of the bullpen and let Ichiro take a shot at the right-hander reliever with Jeter coming up.
Bunted foul. Brought up to 107 pitches right now. Has to be nearing the end of his night. Career highs 111. That was his last start. Bobby V's got a righty and a lefty up in the pen. And ready. Albers and Miller.
And you would think regardless of what happens here, Albers will face Jeter. And then they got the big left-hander for Granderson after that.
No bunt this time. Foul it off. 1-2. The Yankees coming to life here in the bottom of the 7th. Russell Martin leading off the inning with an opposite field home run. Ichiro with an infield hit. Nix the batter. Jeter's on deck. Nobody out. Adrian Gonzalez saw something that makes him want to go over and talk to DuBron. Bobby V told us about the composure that DuBron has had and has displayed all season long. Pretty good test of it right here.
A very competitive kid. And like we said, learning on the job, but really getting some good results.
Chase is upstairs and Nick strikes out. Number 8 for DuBron.
Goes up the ladder. He really catches a break with this fastball, but he earned it with the breaking balls and the other excellent pitches he's thrown tonight.
And here comes Bobby Valentine. And the call to the pen for the right-hander Albers. DuBron goes 6 1/3, leaves with the lead. Albers will come on to face Jeter, who's the potential go-ahead run with a 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. The Yankees finally scoring here in the bottom of the 7th. They did it on a home run by their catcher, Russell Martin, his 12th. And they've got the tying man on, and Boston into the bullpen when we come back to the Bronx. Welcome back to the Bronx. Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN, presented by Taco Bell. They're all fired up. Got the music going, the crowd's going. There's a run in, there's a man on, there's a move to the bullpen for the Red Sox. It's 2-1 Boston. Right-hander Matt Albers is into the game. Albers, part of a Boston bullpen that since the first 3 weeks of the season has been extremely effective. Albers keeps the ball down, gets ground balls. That's what they're looking for right now with a runner at first and 1 out. The batter was Derek Jeter, 0 for 3 tonight, and 2 for 18 in his career against Albers. Ichiro's at first. Do you think the steal's more likely now?
I think their steal is in play. I also think the hit and run can be in play.
Likely one batter for Albers. The left-hander Miller is up. Granderson, the left-handed batters on deck. Runner goes. Pitch taken. Throw down. Not in time.
If Ichiro has lost any portion of a step, it's only about a half a step. He gets an outstanding jump, and he just outruns this. This is not just an outstanding jump and I stole on the pitcher. There's some wheels leaving first base right there.
And now the Red Sox have to pay attention to him at second base also. And with the way Jeter hits, it opens up that hole at second base.
A little surprised, but Pedroia is the one paying attention to him right there with Jeter
this
up.
is a difficult decision. I agree with it, but it's hard to sit in that dugout because you're biting your nails because you know Jeter can shoot that ball through the hole.
Oh, Ichiro looked like he wanted to go.
We're seeing a game of cat and mouse. Pedroia's holding him on and then trying to get back as far as he can to normal depth. And if he goes too quick, Ichiro can get a good jump and try to steal third.
Jeter 2 strikeouts and a double play grounder tonight. Albers sets. 1-1 to the right side and through a base hit. Ichiro around third being held. The throw to the plate on the fly by Sweeney. Good thing for the Yankees that they held Ichiro, and it's runners on the corners with 1 out.
That's nice. That's a nice piece of hitting. I mean, the ball's down and running in. He stays inside it so well and gets the barrel to it. I mean, that's not luck. He knew he had that hole over there.
Bobby V back out to the mound. The left-hander Andrew Miller will come on to face the left-hand hitting Curtis Granderson, with the Yankees now having the go-ahead run on base here in the bottom of the 7th. Big left-hander Andrew Miller is into the game, an ERA of 2.59 of the season, and a guy who has been awfully tough on left-handed batters this year. They are just 8 for 56 against him, a 143 average. He's done a nice job stranding inherited runners. This is a guy who came up, looked like he would be a starter and a real big star, but it's really taken him a while to harness his mechanics, become more consistent, throw more strikes, but he's become a very useful pitcher out of the Red Sox pen.
And it is a little harder for the taller guys to kind of get it all together, get it all timed up, and it's really exceptionally difficult when you're doing it out of the bullpen, but he's doing a great job now.
Ichiro's at third. Jeter's at first. A run in already on the home run by Russell Martin. 1 out in the inning, 2-1 Boston. Granderson 0 for 2 with a walk. 0 for 1 lifetime against Miller.
And what Andrew Miller's done, he's simplified his delivery. You know, without the big leg kick now, out of the stretch, just one simple movement to the plate. He still generates 95, 96, but a lot of the extracurricular movements are out of the way.
High in the air, shallow left center field. Crawford in, makes the catch. Ichiro bluffs a start. And can't go anywhere, just too shallow. Even with the weak arm of Crawford, Ichiro couldn't risk it.
I mean, for a guy who's really scheduled for the surgical table, and Carl Crawford out there for Tommy John surgery, you see him shaking his arm right there before the replay. This is a pretty strong throw for a guy who needs elbow surgery and is thinking about evaluating where the Red Sox are and the Red Sox where they are in the next 7 to 10 days to see if he should go under the knife for next year or keep playing.
You're right, he did. He made a good throw, but you also see him after the throw.
Oh, he's wincing, yeah.
Yeah.
Bob McClure, the pitching coach, to the mound, a meeting to talk about Mark Teixeira, a switch hitter, and a guy who this year has done a better job batting from the right side. He's got stronger numbers against left-handed pitching than he does against righties. There's another left-handed batter on deck in Robinson Cano, so Miller will stay even with Teixeira hitting for a higher average and more power. Same number of homers, but obviously fewer at bats from this side of the plate. The slugging percentage is about 150 points higher from this side of the plate this year for Teixeira. First pitch swinging, ground ball to second. Pedroia recovers and makes the play. And how about Miller? What a job by him. The Yankees get a run, but nothing more. And Sunday Night Baseball is presented by Taco Bell. Sometimes you've got to live Mas. And in part by the makers of One-A-Day Men's, the official multivitamin of Major League Baseball, specially formulated for men. And the all-new 252 horsepower Ford Focus ST. What an interesting game here tonight. A lot of drama on the last inning. Yankees got one, had two men on with one out. Andrew Miller stranded them, so it's still 2-1 Red Sox going to the eighth. And Hiroki Kuroda is still on the mound for the Yankees, facing Ryan Sweeney, the man who drove in both Boston runs tonight with a 2-run double back in the second. Boone Logan has been throwing in the Yankee pen. Sweeney will be followed by Pedro Siriaco, then back to the top of the order for Jacoby Ellsbury. Pops him up. Nix, one down. You would think this could be last batter for Kuroda, with Ellsbury and Crawford coming up and a lefty warming. Crawford making the catch last half inning. Ichiro took 3-4 steps, sized up the throw, and it was not a deep fly ball, but a good throw by Crawford to get there on the fly. Then Pedroia to a knee, in and out of the glove on the ground ball by Teixeira. Stays with it, makes the play. Siriaco takes a strike. Siriaka tonight is grounded out and struck out. Bouncer to third. Another play for Nix. 2 down. David Robertson has joined Boone Logan in the Yankee pen. A couple of quick outs for Kuroda. And no sign of Joe Girardi. It looks like even with the lefty up, Kuroda having a good inning here. Looks like he'll get a chance to stay and face Ellsbury. Ellsbury is 2 for 3, a single and a double. Larry Rothschild and Joe Girardi talking things over right now.
You know, if you're Joe Girardi right now, you'd love so much for your starting pitcher to get out of this inning because he's pitched really well and give him a chance to get in the dugout and a chance for a win.
Yeah, he's lived on the edge as far as the quality pitches he's made tonight. The inning where he really gave the 2 runs, they weren't his fault. They just happened to find some holes with weakly hit balls. Ryan Sweeney's 2-out double that drove in the 2 runs really was a single and just happened to find a gap, and Crawford made a bad route. But he has pitched exceptionally well.
But how far do you go with him this inning? You know, you want to reward him. At the same time, you got to keep the game right where it is.
I was mistaken there. I said Crawford. I meant Andrew Jones made a bad route. But I know what you mean. You want to get him in the dugout, get him a chance to get him some runs, and he has battled like a champion out there tonight.
Inning over on the liner to first. 3 up and 3 down to go the Red Sox. Here come the Yankees down a run to go to the bottom of the 8th. Robinson Cano to lead it off. DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. MLB.TV, baseball everywhere. Watch almost 100 out-of-market games live per week on your favorite devices. Visit MLB.TV for details. Bottom 8, Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. Dan Schulman, Oral Hershiser, Terry Francona, Buster Olney. Red Sox 2, Yankees 1. Andrew Miller, Robinson Cano. Miller did a great job in the 7th inning, getting Granderson to hit a shallow fly ball, getting Teixeira to ground out, stranding 2 runners. Cano, the hitter. On deck is Swisher, a switch hitter, who has better numbers from the left side of the plate, so Miller might stay to face him as well. 0-2 on Cano. Activity in the Boston pen. Vicente Padilla. Alfredo Aceves was also up. Shot down to third. Backhanded stop, Middlebrooks. Long throw on a bounce in time. Joe Girardi's going to come out and argue.
And we'll get a good look at this play. Middlebrooks has to gather himself. Here's our good look.
Nice call.
That's a nice call.
Yeah,
that took us 3 looks, and we put it in slow motion, and it proved the umpire made a good call. And Joe Girardi had to go out and protect his guy.
Chad Fairchild, the first base out. A big out for Boston here to begin the 8th inning, and now here's Swisher. Miller will stay.
And I don't think it's a given that when they get to Andrew Jones, they take Miller out. Just because Raul Ibanez is sitting over there with all those home runs against right-hand pitchers, if he's throwing the ball okay, they may stay with him.
Better numbers, as mentioned, from the other side of the plate for Swisher. In the foreground, Aceves, the closer. In the background, Padilla, the setup man. As unpopular a guy as there is here in New York right now. Padilla and Mark Teixeira have been having an ongoing battle. On the appeal, didn't go. Swisher 2 for 3 tonight. He had the only 2 Yankee hits through the first 6 innings of this game. (3-1). Popped up and back out of play, a full count. Well, that was 97 all.
He's got quite a lever system for a tall guy. It's not about how tall you are. That's why you throw it hard. It's, you know, the fast twitch fiber. You've been blessed with arm speed, but that extra length on the lever doesn't hurt. He's starting to get it all together. He's done quite a job tonight.
One out, nobody on. 2-1 game. Bottom of the 8th inning and a full count.
Boy, it just feels like Boston has to have this game, and the Yankees are in a regular season battle.
Red Sox trying to get back to the 500 mark, trying to win the series and trying to pick up some ground on some of the teams ahead of them in the American League wild card race. Those who may have lost today. So many teams ahead of them right now. Breaking ball for strike 3 called.
That's nasty right there. And I think that pitch right there will let Bobby Valentine leave him in the game. Breaking ball starts in the other batter's box and makes its way all the way back to the middle of the plate. Swisher never had a chance to pull the trigger on that one. It was too wide in his eye to ever think about swinging the bat.
And Bobby V will leave Miller to face Jones. Slider for a strike.
You pace more in the dugout, Tito, when it's a borderline decision and you've just made it?
No, I think, you know what, I like what he's doing here. They don't want Raul Ibanez to hit in this ballpark.
How much of the fact that he's throwing the ball well tonight, too?
And again, this will be his last hitter.
Two and one on Jones. Russell Martin, who homered last inning, waits on deck. Wow. Swing and a miss. Another hard slider. 2-2. That's big league right there.
Yeah, he's got the feel for that pitch right now. He can go right back with it, and maybe just if he can drop it down about 6 more inches, it doesn't even have to be as good as that last one as far as for a strike.
Fastball laced into left field by Jones. On his way to second base and in there with a double. The tying run in scoring position with 2 down in the bottom of the 8th.
Sometimes when your curveball is real good, you don't need to set it up. And if you try to set it up or try and fool the hitter, you actually throw a pitch that you could have just gone right back with that one. So you say, oh, he must be on the curveball now. No, he's still sitting dead red. And he caught up with one that normally you could throw by him at that height. But when you're still on red, big league hitter can catch up with a bullet.
Now Bobby Valentine on his way to the field. They've got Padilla up. They've got Aceves up. Aceves normally the closer. Padilla normally would work the 8th inning. And it's Aceves coming into the game. Miller, in spite of that last hit, did a great job to get the last 2 outs of the 7th, the first 2 outs of the 8th inning. But now the Yankees have the tying run at second, and the go-ahead run coming to the plate with 2 down here in the bottom of the 8th. In this all-important game, as they all appear to be for the Red Sox, if they're to have any hope of getting back and making a real run in the wild card race. They're a sub-500 team, but with as congested as the middle of the American League is right now, 4.5 out in the wild card race, but a number of teams to climb over to really get back into it. And they play Detroit coming up the next 3 days, so that'll be another big series for the Red Sox. How about the decision here, Tito? You've been in this a million times. Do you bring in your setup guy, or do you bring in your closer and ask him for 4 outs?
And I'm sure there was some communication with the bullpen where if they could get to 2 outs, Aceves, it's your game. If we can't get to 2 outs, right, we'll bring in Vicente Padilla. So, and again, you saw Bobby turn around and talk to the pitching coach to alert the guys out there. Again, the Red Sox need to show some urgency, and that's what this move is doing.
I think it does. It spells it right out that Bobby Valentine knows they need this game. They're trying to jump over 5 teams in the wild card. They're really not going to win the division or catch the Yankees unless there's a collapse. You're not coming out of last place. And to beat and win this series on the road, Bobby V is pulling out all the stops.
Aceves has 3 saves of 4 outs this year. Martin, who is the batter, is 3 for 5 with a home run against Aceves, and Russell Martin, who has not had a good year swinging the bat, homered his last time up. So we got a lot going on here with 2 down in the bottom of the 8th inning.
That energy that we talked about in this ballpark from the 7th inning on completely changed. It has the intensity of the old ballpark, and the rivalry is alive.
It changed as soon as Terry Francona said, you know, there's 2.5 innings to go. That's an eternity. Anything could happen. The next moment, the game changed. Andrew Miller having some fun, enjoying a good outing by him. The lead is still intact with a tying run out at second. Don't forget, Sports Center comes your way immediately following the conclusion of this game here in New York. Red Sox got 2 in the second. Yankees got a run in the 7th, courtesy of that man. And Martin will try to do some damage here in the bottom of the 8th. The Yankees, the home run by Martin extends their major league high in that category. They are on pace to break the all-time franchise record for most home runs in a season. And they have now hit 23 home runs in 9 games against the Red Sox this year. Jones at second, 2 down. Martin the batter. First pitch swinging, drilled into center, a base hit. Jones around third. Throw well off line and caught, and the Yankees have tied it.
And now what's difficult for the Red Sox, you've committed your closer to the game. Now you're in a tie game on the road. It's amazing how one pitch things can change so dramatically.
Fastball, he's trying to go low and away. Game on the line. He wants to make a quality pitch. That ball leaks back right down the middle. And Russell Martin, who has a tremendous amount of confidence right now because of the home run in the last at bat, drills it in to center field for the tie game.
Now Ichiro.
The Red Sox need to be careful here. Ichiro doesn't hit for a lot of power the other way, but they're playing so shallow. If a ball finds that gap, Russell could score from first.
Ichiro 1 for 3, had an infield hit his last time up. Now 1 hit in each of his 6 games as a Yankee. To the backstop. Martin to second. Boy, oh boy. That changes things again. Now a base hit. Good score, Martin. He's got pretty good speed for a catcher.
And we had a shot of Andrew Miller after coming out of the game where he gave up the 2-out double, and there was a lot of laughter in the dugout. And right then I got a bad feeling about the rest of this inning. It was like the Red Sox had relaxed. He had done an exceptional job, but they were kind of cutting up. I hope it was a really funny story, but it just didn't look like good chemistry. Then the first pitch, base hit, tie game. Now a wild pitch. It doesn't feel like a team that
urgency.
Yeah, that shows it.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, something can happen to the dugout, and we live there, Terry, that can be really funny. But it's not funny to give out a 2-out double when your team could be in the dugout on a fastball mistake.
I was watching your face when we were watching that. You were cringing. I could tell.
Base hit could give them the lead. To left field, but caught by Crawford to end the inning. Martin ties it up. End of 8 in the Bronx. Brand new ball game. Tied at 2. Bronx tonight. The Yankees with a run in the 7th and a run in the 8th to tie the game at 2. Russell Martin homering in the 7th. And then driving in the tying run with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th by lining a ball back up the middle for a single to score. Andrew Jones from second on the first pitch thrown by Alfredo Aceves. Martin was on that knee-high fastball, drilled it back up the middle. Scoring Andrew Jones to tie the game at 2. Now to the bullpen to go the Yankees after 8 strong from Hiroki Kuroda tonight. It'll be their closer, Rafael Soriano. Tie game at home. Go to the 9th inning. No more save situation. So here comes Soriano to try to preserve the tie. Give the Yankees as clean an opportunity as possible to win it in the bottom of the 9th. Soriano will face Carl Crawford, Dustin Pedroia, and Adrian Gonzalez. He has had an outstanding season and has really been a huge part of the Yankees' success in the wake of the injury to Mariano Rivera back near the beginning of the year. Leading it off, Carl Crawford, 1 for 3 and 2 for 4 in his career against Soriano. Former teammates in Tampa Bay, Crawford and Soriano. Even with the bag at third is Nix. And that hit him. And Soriano puts the leadoff man on in the top of the 9th.
Soriano immediately looked back at the mound and stared at the mound like he slipped on that pitch. He lost his footing a little bit or something, and he's messing with the dirt still. Take a look at the delivery and see what he's thinking. Don't really see much other than the look behind, but he felt like something was unorthodox in that delivery that made him pull it in on Crawford's feet.
Trainer and Bobby Valentine out to check on Crawford to make sure he's okay. Soriano putting himself in a bit of a jam here by hitting the first batter of the inning and bringing up Pedroia. The best friend the Yankees have had tonight has been the double play ball. Hiroki Kuroda got 4 of them in his 8 innings. See what Soriano can do here against Pedroia, who grounded into one of those double play balls. That was back in the 3rd. He's 0 for 3 overall. Nix now back even with the bag, guarding the line a little bit more at 3rd.
And again, there's options open for the Red Sox. You could bunt, you can hit and run, you can just play the game straight up and let Pedroia handle the bat and try to hit the hole.
Set by Soriano. Pretty good lead by Crawford. Not going, and Pedroia hits a high fly ball to center field. Granderson has room. Out number 1. No 1 out of the inning, and here's Adrian Gonzalez now to bat for the Red Sox. Tied at 2, top of the 9th here in the Bronx.
Adrian Gonzalez is so good at going to the opposite field. That's why he hits for such a high average, uses the green monster in Fenway. But don't be surprised with the short right field porch here if he doesn't try and jump an early fastball.
There was his fastball, but he took it for a strike.
And the Yankee outfield extremely deep. Again, they want the Red Sox to have to get 2 hits to score this run. Andrew Jones is way deep in left field.
Barely back safely at first is Crawford.
Boy, they caught him in between. And he got up in the air to get back. He had completely been out of his legs there. Great reaction for him to sneak his hand back in there.
Popped up by Gonzalez. Out goes Jeter. In comes Jones. Jeter makes the catch for out number 2.
And you think at some point now with 2 outs, they'd get Crawford moving.
Crawford hasn't been that healthy, of course, although the injuries have been wrist and elbow and that sort of thing, but didn't run last year as much as he did in many of his seasons with Tampa Bay. Here's Cody Ross, 1 for 3 tonight, 0 for 9 in his career against Soriano. 0-1. Red Sox got 2 in the second. The Yankees with a run in the 7th, a run in the 8th. Both of them driven in by Russell Martin to tie the game. 2 down and a man at first. 2-7-0 for both teams here as the Red Sox bat in the top of the 9th.
Andrew Jones has taken the term play no doubles to a new level. He's almost in the first row of the left field bleachers.
Could be a pitch out count here or pick off, something to keep the running game down.
Not going. Weekly hit coming back fair. Inning over. A cue shot by Ross will end the inning, and the Yankees will come up in a tie game in the bottom of the 9th. Yankee Stadium. Dan Schulman, Terry Francona, Oral Hershiser, Buster Olney. Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN, going to the bottom of the 9th, tied at 2. Alfredo Aceves back to the mound for the Red Sox. Eric Chavez will pinch hit for Jason Nix, leading it off. 1 for 3. The one's a homer in his career against Aceves. And a strike.
Eric Chavez has 8 home runs this year. All 8 are against right-hand pitching.
As you can can see he has scuffled as a pinch hitter, also lately overall, just 1 for his last 18, but he's still got some pop, and he's got that short porch just 314 feet away. Inside at the knees. After Chavez, Jeter, and Granderson. What a deflating loss this would be for the Red Sox if they can't win this game after leading for almost the entire night. Outside corner. Chavez doesn't think so. 1-2.
Some games just feel like bigger games than others. And I know as a manager you try to downplay it, but there's a big difference going home 500 with a 10-game homestand as opposed to 2 games under.
Pop back out of play. And you can't help but look at the wild card standings if you're one of the 7 or so teams in the wild card race. And if you're Boston, you're looking up at the other 6. And every game you lose, a few other teams are winning on that day.
It just feels like it takes the wind out of your sails. You don't give up. You don't change your routine. But you got to fight a downward momentum instead of riding it. And as a group, it takes a group decision as a team, with the staff included, to look on it positively and build each other up and keep the momentum going, or fight against the tide.
Full count.
Tommy Lasorda used to say, if I can get myself, the staff, and all the players to pull on one end of the rope, I can pull the whole league with me. But if internally we're fighting against each other, or everybody's not pulling on the rope, it gets really, really hard.
Well, that's been a big topic about this team this year, going back to last year as well. 3-2. Out of play.
And as much as that controversy has followed the Red Sox throughout this year as far as chemistry and is everybody getting along, and if everybody accepted the new manager, I think the staff, Bobby Valentine especially, has done a great job. Other than the 2 top starting pitchers, Josh Beckett and John Lester, if those guys perform to their abilities, their resume, they're right in this thing. There's no bad story.
As Chavez strikes out Chavez.
Just beats him to the spot. Fastball up. Gets him under it. Commit to the pitch. Execute it. Maybe beat the hitter.
Left-hander Franklin Morales is up in the bench. Granderson is on deck right now. So we could see Morales to face Granderson, Teixeira, Cano, depending on how far it goes. Jeter 1 for 4 tonight, 1 for 9 lifetime against Aceves. And a strike. Check the swing. And it's a ball and a strike. Jeter's been coughing most of the night. Got something going on. Top toward third. Low throw dug out by Gonzalez. 2 down. Now the next decision belongs to Bobby Valentine. Does he leave Aceves or does he go to the left-hander to face Granderson? And it looks like Aceves will stay.
And if I'm in that Red Sox dugout right now, I'm holding my breath.
Well, one thing that Bobby V's got in his favor on this decision. Granderson 0 for 8, 5 strikeouts against Aceves.
I'm not saying it's the wrong move.
Right.
I'm just holding my breath because that right field porch, one mistake and you go home.
Good sharp breaking ball. Only 3:14 down the line. The ball flies here to right field. Granderson 28 home runs on the season. A swing at the bat could win it here for the Yankees. Infielders play him to pull. Outfielders slightly to pull. 1-1. Swing and a miss. Out in front, 1-2. Aceves staying on the rubber, waiting for Granderson to settle back into the box. Aceves ready to go. Messing with his timing a little bit here.
And Earl, you refer to this a lot. He's using Granderson's aggressiveness against him.
It's really hard to build an inning with 2 out, nobody on. So you're really trying to keep him in the ballpark, get him out, and you got to figure he wants to swing.
He does, and it's a high fly ball to right field. Not quite deep enough. Inning over. Extra innings on the way. To extra innings here in New York when the ball game is over. Sports Center next here on ESPN. The Sunday conversation with the Brickyard 400 winner Jimmy Johnson. The USA plays France into basketball today in the Olympics, and the struggles for Tim Tebow and Mark Sanchez at Jets camp. To the 10th inning, tied at 2 between the Red Sox and the Yankees. Eric Chavez will stay in the game at third base after pinch hitting for Jason Nix. And the new pitcher for the New York Yankees is right-hander David Robertson. Robertson pitched a scoreless inning on Friday night against Boston. Missed about a month with an oblique strain, middle of May until the middle of June, but has gotten better and better and back to himself. And you can see how good the numbers are. And this guy is devastating when he is on. Swing and a miss by Jared Saltalamacchia. We're underway here in the 10th.
Now, the one thing the Red Sox can do, if Saltalamacchia can get on, they can pinch run. They got a full bench. The one thing that you can do against Robertson is steal a base.
Saltalamacchia tonight is 0 for 2 with a walk, 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts in his career against Robertson. Kuroda went 8, gave up 2 runs on 7 hits, walked 1 and struck out 4. Soriano worked an inning, hit a batter. Now Robertson here in the 10th. Upstairs. Up again, 3-1. And he walked him. Leadoff man aboard. Will there be a pinch runner?
No.
Punto and Nava would be the 2 guys you'd think about on that Boston bench. Saltalamacchia will stay.
Or Mike Aviles, actually.
Yeah.
Pretty good base stealer.
Yep. Saltalamacchia stays. Middlebrooks is the batter, 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Each team with a couple of runs on 7 hits. No errors in the game. The Red Sox have left 3. The Yankees have left 9. Showing bunt. And Middlebrooks is down, and Brian O'Nora, the home plate umpire, is down.
Going to be an interesting call, too.
Did it hit both of them?
Squared around, looked like as he was pulling back, he gets hit by the ball.
It's going to be interesting now to see after they flush this out if the umpires are able to, after they see if the umpire's okay. Now, did he attempt to bunt or was he pulling back?
If the ruling is he attempted to bunt and wasn't pulling it back, then he's not getting first base. And it looks like that might be the situation.
This ball definitely looks like it hits him on the hand. Yep. The fleshy part of the hand below your pinky. And he's pulling it back for sure. But you got to make this call from 110 feet away if you're one of the base umpires.
He's got to get first base on
this
it,
point.
Yeah.
At this point of the call, they are not giving him first base.
Right.
Now, he showed him that he got hit. You know, he's got a mark there, and now they're still talking about it. But this is tough because the home plate umpire goes down, so he can't see it.
But from what you guys have seen, did it look like to you that unquestionably he was trying to get that bat out of the way?
Now, the unfortunate part of this is with the way this play transpired, I mean, that happened so fast. Brian O'Nora went down because he got hit right after Will Middlebrooks did, and all everybody saw was a bunch of bodies.
And a lot of times the call is made by the umpire from the hitter's reaction, not what they actually see sometimes, and the hitter's job is to sell it. And as Middlebrooks is trying to sell it, O'Nora's down.
So if they don't award him first base, and it sure doesn't look like they're going to, then it's going to be an 0-2 count on Middlebrooks. And Bobby V's getting heated up.
Yeah, and my guess is Bobby's going to last maybe another 10 seconds.
Yeah. This is a way to get his team inspired.
Two seconds off. You know, you could tell Brian O'Nora didn't want to run him.
The guys on the Red Sox bench, as Bobby went back there, were letting him know that you're right, Bobby. And so he went back out for some more peace. They all know already from watching the replay.
Now they got to be saying one of two things. He didn't get the bat out of the way. Like he didn't make an effort or wasn't able to get the bat out of the way, or that it hit the bat. I can't imagine that they feel it hit the bat. Giving some signs before he goes. Given the way Middlebrooks was showing him his hand, you got to believe there's pretty conclusive evidence that the ball hit him in the hand.
Right, and I think the umpires probably acknowledged that.
Yeah.
But then none of them saw it clear enough to say that he pulled it back.
It's really not even close in the replay to the bat, but live action, tough call.
And it would be, if any umpire would be able to help the home plate umpire, Brian O'Nora, it would be Chad Fairchild down at first.
Exactly. Open side of the hitter, closest to the play.
Now we got more guys going.
Unless Bobby's still in the dugout.
I think it's Josh Beckett might be gone now.
And you're right. So, Bobby Valentine ejected for the third time this year. Josh Beckett ejected. It's ruled a strike. Saltalamacchia is still at first, and it's an 0-2 count on Middlebrooks. Base hit. Well, if you believe in the baseball gods and justice being served, the Red Sox just got a pretty fair shake. Look at that, he's saying. Look at that. Middlebrooks with a base hit, first and second with nobody out. Ryan Sweeney, who doubled in the two Boston runs tonight. That was way back in the second. Will Sweeney be bunting? He was showing it. Outside, ball one.
And with Bobby Valentine gone, Tim Bogart takes over in the dugout.
Red Sox bench coach. Sweeney checking out where the infielders are. Chavez creeping in at third. Robertson sets. Sweeney squares, pops it up. It'll drop untouched.
There's Tim Bogart getting a little taste of management, probably not the way he anticipated. And we don't know his signs, but I'd be willing to bet that means he's bunting again.
When you talk about a game where the intensity picked up about the seventh inning and everything so much on the line, pitch after pitch. Not bunting. Wow. He sends it foul, 1-2.
And really everything since then has gone against the Red Sox, including that call. And until that base hit, it really seemed like everything was moving the Yankees' way.
Saltalamacchia at second, and Middlebrooks at first. Nobody out, 10th inning. One-two. Chopper to the right side. Cano to second for one, and that's all they'll get. Fielder's choice, first and third, one out.
Now you got a guy that can handle the bat in Siriaco. He's the one guy that Bobby talked about that he can bunt with. I'm sure that's why Joe Girardi's making this trip. They want to talk over their defense.
And they're going over the squeeze sign there, Jerry Royster and Siriaco. Royster was thinking about having a conversation before Girardi came out of the dugout, and he gave him a free one by Joe popping out.
Girardi has had his say with his infield. And Siriaco will come up first and third, one out, trying somehow, some way to push across the go-ahead run here in the top of the 10th. Jerry Royster, third base coach, flashing the signs.
He had a chat with Saltalamacchia down there at third also after he left Siriaco, so everybody's on the same page.
And you have the Yankees infielders playing shallow because of the respect of Siriaco is really tough to double up. So if there's a ground ball in the middle, you're going to see them come home.
Little flare, base hit. In to score, Saltalamacchia. The Red Sox lead 3-2.
He gets jammed in a big way, and he just happens to find a hole. Bad luck for Robertson and the Yankees. Good luck for Siriaco and the Red Sox. And it feels like from about the 7th inning on, the base hit the left and that little flare to right are the only things that have gone well for the Red Sox, but it puts them on top.
Still just one out in the inning, and back to the top of the order now for Ellsbury, 2 for 4. Siriaco now against the Yankees this year is 11 for 22, hitting an even to 500 against New York on the season.
He didn't hit it very hard, but he found the right place.
Hit him where they ain't.
That bat jumped off that ball.
Sweeney at second, Siriaco at first. And a swing and a ground ball to short. One. In time to double up Ellsbury and end the inning. The Red Sox, though, get a run and take a 3-2 lead to the bottom of the 10th. Teixeira, Cano, Swisher coming up. In the just completed top of the 10th, this play, they pitched to Will Middlebrooks, the ruling apparently that he did not get the bat out of the way, so it's a strike in spite of the fact that he's saying, look, it hit me. Bobby Valentine saying it hit him, give him first. The didn't give him first. Bobby Valentine, Josh Beckett kicked out. Middlebrooks came up with a base hit, and then a batter later, Siriaco with a bloop to score Saltalamacchia. And the Red Sox get the go-ahead run. They take a 3-2 lead to the bottom of the 10th inning here in the Bronx, with Alfredo Aceves back out on the mound. Aceves gave up a hit, then got the last out of the 8th, then got the Yankees in order with the 9th. He's thrown 20 pitches, but he's a guy, as both Yankee and Red Sox fans alike know, he likes to pitch.
Yeah, he'll stay out there all day. Right. That's not the issue.
Yep. Here's Mark Teixeira to lead off the inning. Teixeira 0 for 4. The other option was to perhaps go to the left-hander Morales to turn Teixeira around and then face Cano. Vicente Padilla is also up in the Boston pen as that fastball runs inside. The left-hander Morales, the right-hander Padilla. Cano on deck, Swisher behind him. Way up in the air down the right field line. Sweeney drifting into foul territory, makes the catch. Pretty good concentration there by Sweeney.
Fans are going to boo the gentleman in the Yankee uniform, or one of them, for not getting in the way. You're fair game once you cross over in fandom.
I'll tell you what, that guy that has Tino Martinez jersey, he's lucky that ball didn't come down near him. I hit him right in the head. He wasn't close. Yeah.
Might not have the biggest vertical leap to go out and challenge Sweeney for that ball either. Here's Cano 0 for 4. Boy, imagine the range of emotions the Red Sox and for what it's worth, their fans have gone through tonight. Every game's so important. Trying to get back to 500. Up almost the entire night. Russell Martin gets the Yankees a run in the 7th, ties it in the 8th. And then for the Red Sox to come back, take the lead again in the 10th. What a roller coaster for them. 0-2 on Cano.
And you're right, Dan, if they hold on here, it may not have been the prettiest win, but it'll go a long way. They're going to be a tired group get on that plane tonight. They're going to feel good about themselves.
2 outs away.
I love the intensity that Josh Beckett showed on the bench, sticking up for his teammates, trying to get the call, and leverage that into some good outings the rest of the way. Just be all in.
Pulled foul. Beckett ejected along with Bobby Valentine, arguing the call on the Middlebrooks play in the top half of the inning. So Tim Bogar, the bench coach, is at the helm right now. Red Sox head home to start a series with the Tigers. The Yankees remain home and start a series with the Orioles. Chop to second. 2 down. Remember, the Yankees tied it in the bottom of the 8th last night. Siriaco delivering a hit in the top of the 9th, helping the Red Sox on to an 8-6 win. The Yankees tied tonight in the bottom of the 8th. Siriaco didn't get a lot of it, but got enough of it to come up with a big hit, driving the go-ahead run tonight in the top of the 10th. Here's Swisher. Yankees down to their final out. Swisher 2 for 4. And it hit him. A breaking ball from Aceves that hit Swisher.
And now that's going to give Raul Ibanez a chance to hit.
Hard curveball, and Swisher doesn't give in, takes one for the team.
And Andrew Jones has indeed been called back. Ramiro Pena is now going to go run for Nick Swisher, and as Terry said, here comes Ibanez to bat for Jones. So as they begin to chant Raul here at Yankee Stadium, Ibanez will come up. Right-hander Padilla, left-hander Morales. So if you're Boston, you got two choices. You leave Aceves to face Ibanez. Bob McClure, the pitching coach, comes out, or you go to the left-hander Morales to face Ibanez.
And Bob McClure's making the trip, but we don't know, because normally if they're making a switch, it'd be Bobby Valentine. My guess is that Bob McClure's talking to him, and they're going to let him face Ibanez.
Gonzalez trying to fire up Aceves, but I don't really think Aceves needs any help in that department. He's always fired up.
I can tell you from experience, Aceves did not hear a word of what was said there.
Aceves says, I got it, coach.
Like, beat it, buddy.
You go back to the dugout.
You go back over there. I got this.
That's great. That's great stuff. Aceves stays. The Yankees down to their final out. The tying run at first, the winning run at the plate in Ibanez. And Ibanez still with a lot of pop. He's got 13 home runs this year and 258 at bats. A strike.
You gotta love the confidence.
Oh, and 2.
He hasn't been shy that he wanted to keep pitching, and he hasn't been shy by attacking the strike zone.
Oh! Wow. I think that's what a lot of people in both dugouts just said as well.
What's K-Zone say? Wow also.
Good on Aceves. Didn't look like it rattled him too much. Just give me the ball back. Let me go again. A run on the top of the 10th for the Red Sox to take a 3-2 lead. The Yankees have a man at first with 2 down here in the bottom of the 10th. One-two. Way foul into the upper deck.
This is a pitch where you know you can get him out in front with a breaking ball. If you just hit a fastball that far foul pulled, but you still have to execute it. You can't hang it. You hang it to him, you give him a chance to hit it out.
In the air and out of play off to the left. If Ibanez can get on somehow, look who's on deck for the Yankees. The guy who's done all their damage tonight. Russell Martin homered in the 7th and then drove into what was then the tying run in the 8th on a base hit. And he did that off of Aceves. Pena the lead. Again the 1-2 in under his hands. 2-2. Got a piece to stay alive. Boy, what a battle this is between Aceves and Ibanez.
And the more pitches Ibanez sees, the more dangerous he gets.
Since the 2-strike count, he's seen 3 fastballs, and they're a changeup away. He still hasn't seen the breaking ball that Aceves hit Swisher with, that he pulled inside.
Again, the 2-2. Ripped down the right field line, but foul.
I'm a little lost that he hadn't tried to throw a breaking ball in the dirt sometime in the last 4 pitches. Ibanez seems to be able to fight the fastball off or square it up and pull it hard foul.
Upcoming the 9th pitch of the at-bat. Got him. The breaking ball gets him, and the Red Sox win it. Had the lead, lost the lead, got it back in the 10th, and then they hang on to win 3-2 to get back to the 500 mark and take 2 out of 3 from the Yankees in this series. Tonight's Chevrolet player of the game is the guy who hit it just far enough. Pedro Siriaco with a bloop RBI single into right field in the top of the 10th to score what turned out to be the winning run as Boston wins 3-2 tonight in a tense affair in the Bronx. Sports Center is next here on ESPN. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Oral Hershiser, Terry Francona, Buster Olney, and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Dan Shulman saying thanks for watching and so long from Yankee Stadium here in the Bronx.